organized party in Nigeria as at that time, even now. So my point is, don't let us kid ourselves and say, oh, it is. I'm not saying we are looking for Messiah here. We are looking for let's ask ourselves, what do Nigeria wants? Good light, good road, good water, good healthcare, good education. These are not rocket science. Let's think about it. Look, we have so many professionals depleting so many key sectors. What someone said earlier, elections has consequences. Look, that is what we need to realize, that elections in Nigeria has consequences. The fact that, okay, I didn't vote, or it's only one thing that will not happen. No, we must just look, this is not something that is new. People come every 4 years and say, we will do road. At this 2021, people will still come around and say, we will do road. Until today, nobody is holding them accountable. My point is, at this point, as young people, we should be talking about how do we get our elections, our votes to count. Why should we take an election, a presidential election, 3, 4, 5 days to get results? And most young people have mobile phones across. Yes, I know there are some remote regions in Nigeria, but they are not as big as we think. So at the end of the day, we must understand that women let's think about it. If all women in Nigeria are voting, they decide that okay, this guy we want to vote for. Or if all young people in Nigeria say this guy we want to vote for, I can tell you the way APC and the other two parties will shake. Because one thing they know, they fear the most is they fear a united set of people. That was why X was kind of powerful. Till today, any political class, what they fear the most is that okay, when it is a result that okay, this is our demand, A, B, C, and D, we are going to go to the end. Look, if vote is not important, then why do politicians offer money to pay for those votes? So at the end of the day, please, women or young people, and especially young people, I think our focus should be, look, it should be clear. National Assembly or whatever, can you please pass a electronic voting process? Or at the very least, ensure that the process becomes more transparent. Because at the end of the day...
Abiodun, sorry to cut you off. So National Assembly spread, the 9th Assembly, they recently passed the new amendments, which was forwarded to President Buhari, and I believe that electronic transmission was included in it. So just to put it in context.
Yes. Do you know that there's a clause in there that they tweak that they say, okay, at certain places, they can use electronic to gather, but not to transmit. And therefore, INEC has the reservation to choose. That is, look, let us look at that thing that you are referring to very clearly. That INEC has a reserve to choose at its own discretion to choose whether to transmit or not. In other words, they use big English, but essentially that's what they are saying. So what they are simply saying is that okay, we can use those machines at the police station, but INEC reserves the right to decide whether to take it to the police station or to transmit it from that police unit. My brother, if we have that done today, do you know? That's why they are fighting back, and they are saying, okay, they are giving us 5, and they are taking half a dozen behind the scenes. So it is not. So that's why the people must get interested and involved in the system. I've seen Nigeria the way it is at the national level, and there are so many things that I know. Yes, what about it? That those are the root cause. When someone goes to police station and he gets injured, no, me and you will not go there to go and pay his medical bill. Me or the guy goes to vote and then his vote doesn't count, or someone in between police station and the collation center, the government magic happens. Think about it. Why should we at 2021 still be doing manual counting by professors who will still manipulate numbers? These are professors, people's daddies, who are mortgaging the future of Nigeria and Nigerian young people. So my point is, I'm not saying all professors are bad. I'm just saying that the system needs more transparent. And that's what as young people, we should be resolved on and say, look, this is what we want. The electoral system come one day or one, but at the very least, we have not moved progress in the last 16 years. Let's be honest. Let us be very honest. Because someone was saying, oh, next time, naira, 1 naira at 10.99 versus 1 naira today. My brother, compare and contrast.
Thank you. Abiodun, thank you. We can just wrap up. I like your passion, but you can just wrap up so we have other speakers. Thank you.
Yeah, so what I'm basically saying is that, yes, voter apathy is because as a result of something. And that thing is because the electoral system are not transparent. So therefore, what do we get to get younger people to get into voting system? Because we need to say, okay, look, there's one process that needs to be ironed out before 2023, which is from that polling unit, I can see that, okay, this is the result I was declaring my polling unit, and I can see that result live on INEC website or anywhere INEC is doing, and I can verify it. That is where we can begin to say, okay, yes, we are making progress. I hope with this 3 points of mine, I've been able to convince you that elections have consequences. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abiodun. That was with a lot of passion. I really enjoyed it. We would have kept you going all day, but it would be nice to have other people speak. If we can have Rashida or Ibekemet.
Good day. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello? All right.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I've been listening to this conversation for a while now, and I want to align myself with what the last speaker said, because I really don't understand at this point in time, why are we still standing under the sun to vote for people who are not trustworthy? I understand that the electoral Electronic Act was passed, or no, it's still being passed. Does this vote that we are standing outside, does this vote really count? I want to ask this question. Because looking at it, a lot of people don't want to come out on that day. Why? Because it's not even safe for you to come out on that day to vote. When we have the likes of the Agberos in the community waiting to pounce on you if you vote against the person they want in that community. Look at the last election that happened in Lagos State. A lot of people in the Igbo community, I think in Yaba or somewhere else, I can't remember, came out to vote. But what happened to their votes? The vote was hijacked and a lot of them were killed. So how do you expect the next dispensation, this same set of people go out and cast their votes? We need to think about one, security for those people who are willing to come out to vote, because they may not go back home alive. We have a lot of things to do, a lot of talking to do about security. People come there with the hope of, oh, I want to change the situation in Nigeria. I hope my vote will count. But at the end of the day, it doesn't. Because one, there's an apparatus for you, for the people in power, that once they see you voting against their wishes, they will be killed. So what are we doing about that? Security, number one. I have parents back home who are willing to make these things change. They go out there every election. I remember they go out to a specific voting place to cast their votes. Sometimes they tell me, and I tell them, please, you people shouldn't go out because it's not even safe. How do you run when these people come to hijack these votes or hijack the ballot boxes? You may be killed. The same thing happens when a lot of people tell me, I said, you people shouldn't vote because you are not even safe. So that one is one of the things we have to talk about, security. If this Electronic Act is not passed before the next dispensation, how the people that are willing to come out to vote, how will they be secured, and how is their vote going to be secured? That is one thing we have to talk about. Nigerians are willing to make a change. Nigerians are willing to turn around what's happening in the country. But by the time you hear gunshot a day before the elections, how will you come out to go and vote? I think that's one thing we have to address first and foremost before even talking about the elections. How are we going to secure the people? Well, I don't know. I leave it to you people to answer. Hello?
Thank you very much for your thought-provoking questions. So I'll leave the floor open for Aki or someone to AKNY to answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Banks. I've been wanting to speak on a few things I've heard on this platform. Thank you. For me, I'll go straight to the point. I think first and foremost, I think we need to have a critical assessment of every stakeholder that makes for a successful electoral process. And the reason is because people have mentioned different reasons why elections don't count, and I believe our elections will count, but we need to understand those key stakeholders that will make or mar a successful electoral process. Like the youth, for example, we know we have a youth, but we even have a divergent youth. What I mean is that there's a yawning gap between the educated youth and the Agberos, who are also youths, but hey, they have other people they are listening to. So we need to bring everybody together. Now, you spoke about the NSAS. Now, the NSAS has helped us to understand that if we properly plan and organize ourselves, we can get everyone on board. For example, the police. Can we trust the police in this next election? Now, what we are trying to do is not a short-term thing, it's a long-term thing. Okay, if we can't get a police, can we get some other security unit that is not so maybe towards the government or is not lopsided? You know, other sites, other regions in Nigeria have Amoteku and all those people to secure election polling units and all that. I think these things are important. For example, in the area of sensitization, we have so many civil organizations that, are already sensitizing people. How can we help them? How can we encourage them to reach out to these people? Can we have town hall meetings? Even the Agberos, we have their representatives. The trade unions, we have their representatives. The women, we have their representatives. The market women, we have their representatives. People who are sincere and who are ready to work together to ensure that we achieve the common goal. What's this common goal? Let's put in right people. Now, for the kind of people we are looking for, we spoke about the leadership and all that. I think first and foremost, we should have visionary leadership. And also, most people in the private sector will not necessarily employ someone based on experience. That is the mistake we've been having or making in Nigeria. We say, this one was a former this one was a former this, so he will do it. No, we are not looking at your experience anymore. What are your achievements? When you were there, what did you do? What can you do now? What were the experiences and the skills you gathered since? How does it work now? How does it apply? And that's why we should also pay attention to things like manifestos. When we were listening to the APC manifesto saying ₦1 to $1, it was not possible. No reasonable thinking economist would say, yes, this will happen. Because it couldn't have happened. There were many things that were said that so far.
Somto, please let him go ahead, please. Let him go ahead, Somto. Go ahead, please.
So what I'm trying to explain, let me just round up, is that okay, so let me just round up. Let me just say, first, we need to engage more stakeholders. Secondly, we need not just to look at experience. Let's hold on to competencies. Let's look at what they have done before. Charles Soludo is governor today because we know what he did in different places. And these two things would actually ensure that our electoral process is improved. Thank you.
Can I say something? Go ahead. Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I love it that people are gathered to speak their mind and to sensitize and create an orientation on way forward. That's a very good one. My one couple advice on this is, we as electorates must, jettison ignorance and gullibility. Because I believe we as Nigerians are very, very gullible. Everything we say or hear influences or moves someone. For example, someone who is in UK, for example, will tell someone in Nigeria that gas is being expensive. inciting the person to hate the government, whereas you're suffering the same thing. What we say, and you that are telling these things, your credibility, you don't ask questions. You read these things that gas is expensive in England, and they tell you, oh, gas is expensive in Nigeria, the government is not good, and you believe it, Benito. We have to start asking questions. Hating our government will not bring us the way forward. Changing the government, bringing things, means to change the status quo is what will help us. Now, how do we do these things? We have to first kill tribalism. Tribalism, that is the worst canker worm we are suffering. 100%. Now, I have discussed with many people. I have had them tell me we have to protect our own. And I ask myself, if I protect my own that's stealing me dry, how do I want the system to change? Now, I am from Delta State, my local government is usually not, and I live the ward councillors, local government chairman, the House of Representatives ostensibly, the House of Representatives of the federal level, my senators, my governors. I leave all these people and go to Abuja to go and hold Buhari accountable. Am I not stupid? Is there not something wrong with me? So we have to know who to hold accountable at every particular stage. And we also have to think about what we listen to. Somebody tells you your vote is not counting. The same person is complaining I believe in all these things. If votes is not counting, why do they pay people to vote? These are questions I will ask myself if somebody tell me the votes are not counting. Now let us check what happened in Edo State. In Edo, they voted and defended and protected their votes. They wanted Obaseki and they made Obaseki win. They voted and not just vote, they protected and defended their votes. In Anambra State, they voted and defended their votes. Soludo won. They wanted Soludo and Soludo won. And now if you sit at home and then say, no, after all, my vote will not count, who will then vote that one that will make you win? 2015 election between Goodluck and Buhari, many people who wanted Goodluck, many Igbos wanted Goodluck. And after the election, they were shouting, yeah, Goodluck will win, Goodluck. And I called my friends, my close friends. I called minimum of 50 and asked them, who did you vote? To shock you, not up to 3 voted. And they wanted Goodluck to win. Who will then win? Who then do the vote for you to win? So we see that we're cheating ourselves. Know what you listen to. Know who is telling you the thing. Ask yourself what is happening around the world. Gather the facts. Google is your friend. Here in Germany now, the diesel I used to buy 90 cents December 2020, I am buying it now €1.60. That is 70 cents more. And if diesel becomes expensive in Nigeria, the same will call you, diesel is now 300 naira. What I'm deceiving you. Check the data. Gather the data to know, is this one now a problem of the world or is this one peculiar to Nigeria? We have to always find these things. We have to always gather these facts. Okay, another one that strikes me is the government is forcing Twitter to pay tax. And all of us are saying, no, Twitter shouldn't pay tax. So are you hating the government or are you killing the government? If you support Twitter not to pay tax, you're killing yourself. Twitter is paying tax in Germany. They're paying tax in USA. They're paying tax in Britain. They're paying tax everywhere. Why shouldn't they pay tax in Nigeria? So we rightly hating the government will not help us. What will help us is bringing ways to change the way the government is being run, and how to do it is first to kill tribalism. I argue with somebody because we were talking about who should be the next president, and they were saying, let it be an Igbo man. I said, okay, let's assume it's an Igbo man. Now, who will be the person for you? He asked me, and I said, for me, there are only 3 persons I want. It's either Ngozo Konjo-Iweala, Peter Obi, or Amechi. And he said, yeah, Konjo-Iweala would have been good, but she's not an original Igbo. Look at it. And I said, okay, let's put Konjo-Iweala aside. What of Amechi? Yeah, Amechi is South, is not original Igbo. So it's only Peter Obi that's original Igbo. Now let's assume that Peter Obi is not the original Igbo, and APC we know is having bigger upper hand now, and Peter Obi is a PDP. How do you want the Igbo to win? Because the only person that for me, if you want to talk about the Igbo presidency, would have been Amechi, who is in APC, the ruling party. But now you don't want him because he's not original Igbo. How do you want the Igbo presidency? Tribalism is killing you. And the other another narrative now that I want to talk about is, I'm running on with it, is people always say it's only PDP or APC. Let's remember that APC was formed in 2013. Somebody may say, yeah, it was an alliance between two functioning parties already. Yes, we have the SDP, which is the oldest party in Nigeria. We have YPP, we have ABGA, we have this and that, we have HIV and syphilis and otherwise. We can emerge them. I don't believe in impossibilities. Impossible is nothing. If APC, if Buhari and Tinubu can form alliance in 2013 and dismantle PDP in 2015, I don't believe anything is impossible in this dispensation. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks. So, I had in mind that we were going to finish this space around 2, but it seems, I'm enjoying it, and a couple of people are enjoying it as well. So please feel free to continue to contribute.
Good evening, everyone. I was just going to say, it would really be great if people come on here with positive solutions to our problems. Because in the since we've had independence, it's always been negativity. The political class telling us, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, trying to train us mentally. We are smart. We know, we young people, we are smart. If you think we cannot set up a political party and do what our forefathers did when they got independence, then you got something coming for you, right? Because we know what to do. We are aware, we are educated. And I would say out there to anyone that is also doing a project to educate Nigerians on their democratic rights. I'm very much interested in that project. That I'm also working on a pet project of mine. I am going to distribute documentaries in all 774 local governments in Nigeria. Everyone in Nigeria is going to know why they need to take politics seriously. This is not a game. People are dying. People are dying because some people want to make a little bit more money. You're not going to take all this money to heaven. So why are we killing people because of a bit more money? It is not fair. Everyone has equal rights to a collective wealth in Nigeria. And we need to start treating people with respect in Nigeria. We need to start respecting our fellow citizens. And we need to start setting up policies to do that. We need diaspora reforms. We need to be able to vote. We contribute too much to Nigeria to not be able to vote. I should not be disenfranchised from voting just because I'm in Australia. I contribute far more to Nigeria than some people in Nigeria. So I should have every right as a Nigerian to vote.
I just have a quick question to the voting, diaspora voting. I 100% totally support it. I've been pushing for it with NIDO for a while. But my question is this. In a country where they are rigging left and right and center, how do we stop them from rigging diaspora votes? The floor is open for anybody that would like to answer that, please.
Well, I would say how do other countries do it as well. We need Nigerians to be honest. We all need to be honest. What do we want? Do we want a country that's good for everyone, that's prosperous, that we can all say, oh, wow, that is my country. The whole world wants to come to my country to do business. The whole world wants to come to my country to visit and have fun. Or do we want a country where people are just poverty is being weaponized because if the few people want to make a little bit more money? We need a country where our legislative arm of government is actually doing their damn jobs. We need a country where they are being paid less. Because why are you getting millions while my mates on the streets can't even feed themselves? You are getting millions from his money that you've refused to pay him. Anyway, I'm just going to say, I have a lot of plans for Nigeria. I'm not interested in politics, but I know how to play this game, and I'm playing the long game. Anyone interested in playing the long game with me, then we can get into this Game of Thrones, because that's what it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contributions. Up next, please, would be Violet. Or Akin already spoke, so let's allow Violet to speak, please. Or anybody else can pick it up. Okay, great. Go ahead, please. Violet, go ahead, please.
You got it.
Yes, we can hear you now. We couldn't hear you before, but we can hear you now. Go ahead, please.
Hello? Okay, can you hear me? Hello? Can you? Okay. So I would like to answer the question you asked earlier. I'd like to answer the question, or attempt to answer one of the questions you asked earlier. What are we looking out for, or what should we look out for in the next, in prospective leaders or prospective persons who are running for office from next elections and subsequent elections? I would say first off that I believe that I'll start with this. Fixing Nigerian elections is a marathon, not a sprint. Many times the reasons why we don't go back to the polls, even though we feel like our votes haven't been heard or properly counted or even got them counted at all, is because we feel that one election or two elections or three elections or even 10 elections, I dare say, would resolve the problem. But nation building is something that is a marathon. It's not a one-off. And nation building is something that is called, is what I say, cut out for people that are willing to be, consistent at it and dogged, right? And this goes beyond political leaders or persons running for office. It runs right down to we, the citizens. I think that a lot of Nigerians give up way too quickly, right? Yeah, there may be some that have been voting for decades, eons, basically, for as long as they've been alive, like our parents, and still haven't witnessed some change or any change. Rather, it looks like it's even getting worse. It's receding even much more than it was before. But I would say that nation building is more of a consistent thing. It requires consistency. So on the issue of voting for starters, if we say we're not going to vote, the truth about the matter is people will still vote. And if we don't vote, people will still vote, and the wrong guys, in quotes, will still come in, and bad stuff will still come up. They wouldn't rule properly, or they wouldn't lead properly, and all of that. And then we'll still come back to these conversations of what are we going to do? What do we do? Eventually, those same persons who didn't vote will still come to take the forefront of such conversations and still not vote or do anything significant. And it just feels like you are the problem. You are part of the problem that we are having. So yes, you don't go out to vote because of security. Agreed. Every country, I believe, has its own turfs or its own hurdles or its own major issues when it comes to political leadership. And I do think that it's more like a recurrent problem in any society or in any economy or in any government. I just want to say that one of the most important things for us to look out for in the issue of voting is the fact that we still need to find a way to vote anyway, right? We still need to find a way to vote, because if we don't, other people will vote. The bad people would vote. The wrong, the cheating will still continue. Everything will still go wrong. But then again, it gives your voice. You give your voice more backing when you have fulfilled your own civic duties of stepping out to the polls on election day to try to vote. And I want to borrow a leaf from what Bank said earlier about what some of the CSOs are doing. Not because I work with Yaga or I have worked with CSOs in the past or however, but because that is a good place for us to start. And if we go from that perspective and support some of these CSOs, right? It gives some sort of credit to whatever it is that they are trying to do. A couple of years ago, the Not Young to Run bill was put in place, and people are expecting that immediately. Oh, a young person should, get in there. Some of those laws may not have we not see the actual effect of some of those laws initially, but it's something that will take a period of time because it is nation building. In my opinion, these are setting blocks that we hope that in our lifetime we get to see the results for. However, in the event that we don't, let's not think that it wouldn't still happen maybe in some decades to come. But the important thing is that the foundation has already been set. The necessary ingredients has been put in play, or added to the mix, so that in the long run it comes out, properly, or better yet, it comes out the way we would want it to come out. That is, younger people will be given opportunity to rule Nigeria. Also, I'd like to talk about the issue of criteria, the kinds of things you're looking out for in leaders. I would say someone said something about cunning, and I think it was an essay, Malami or so. He said something about, we're conned by Buhari. And I beg to differ. I don't support any individual. I'm more about who is bringing what achievements in. So I have my issue with the present government. I mean, it is glaring. Everyone can see that. But let's not begin to shift, blames and say stuff like we're conned. I don't think anyone was conned, because if there's anybody that we should know their capacity for are the previous leaders that we have had in Nigeria. And probably for the last 15, 20, 30 years, we have just been recycling leaders in Nigeria. So you cannot say that we're conned. If you voted for these folks, I don't even blame people who voted for them in a way. But I blame them when they come out to say we're conned. If they are such persons. I think it's important to say that nobody expected this to happen to a fair extent. However, these guys had a trail. They had a history. It was simply for us to go to those folks who voted for them before they did, to go to that history and see the things that they did and didn't do, and how they even achieved whatever it is they said they achieved. So it's important to look at some of these things and do a proper assessment before we come to the conclusion of saying you're going to vote for this person. However, on the issue of parties, someone coming from PDP, someone coming from APC, we understand that eventually it's a party thing. Even though we would like to say it's an individual thing, but we know that eventually the party influence the decision of the person when the person is in office. So the issue of party would always be there. We are always going to be stuck, at least for now, we are always going to be stuck with these two large parties or the two major parties in Nigeria, even though we are operating a multi-party system. And we must understand that it's like choosing between two devils. It's what it is. But we still need to pick, because if we don't, one of them will still emerge as leaders. It does not encourage the fact that, we shouldn't encourage the younger parties. By all means, we should encourage the newer parties that have competent leaders that have come up to run for office. But still yet, let us not forget that these leading parties have been around for a while. So it will be difficult to take them out of this scene to make the newer parties emerge to the top. It's like I said, it is a marathon. And we're talking about I'm talking about criteria now. Talking about criteria, we should be looking at things like integrity, competence. Look at the trail of leadership that these guys have achieved. I think it was one of the guys, I think it's Gospel RX or so, that made mention of something that caught my attention, in addition to what I wanted to say, which is looking at the trail, looking at their achievements. And not just the achievements, but how they achieved it. You can use mago and wuru to get the answer or get the results. Those are the kinds of things you put under the magnifying glass to find out how this person led. You cannot isolate the character of a person from the way the person leads. It's not possible. Eventually, different things would make people's character come to the fore, and you'll be able to see the way this person. That's why they'll say people who don't have money, when they have money, they start acting a certain way, because life's pressures will always bring people's character out. And that's why I would say that our old leaders that have been recycled back into the system one way or another, it shouldn't be a surprise to some of the folks who knew or who were alive, when these guys ruled before they came back into power. So when we're looking at credentials, or we're looking at criteria to look at the next set of leaders, let's look at the things they've done. Did they even start from local leadership? Were they chairmen of constituencies? Even if they didn't get to chairman level, what kind of leadership things did they do in their places of work? What kinds of things did they do? What kinds of movements did they champion? How much of human rights activism were they involved in? How much of openness how much of integrity did they have? How accountable were they? Even if they were just heads of departments in their workplaces. If you cannot get that kind of history or trail from these persons, then ask them questions directly. If you cannot reach them, that means they wouldn't be any better when they become leaders. That is the beginning of how to. I'm sorry.
You're just wrap up. You're speaking fantastically, and I appreciate that coming from you. But you can just wrap up.
I'll wrap up. Just give me a few seconds here. Okay. So I just want to say that if you're looking at Pretoria, let's look at history. And lastly, I'd like to end on this since my time is up. I think we should hold the issue of accountability very, very dearly. Because accountability is going to prove to us the integrity of these persons. And if you're talking about integrity, it means that people are, or accountability and integrity cannot really be pulled apart because they are sort of like, they work hand in hand. So when these guys, now that we have social media, what's it called? Twitter was banned, but we are here. People are still finding a way to get on social media. Now that we know that we have social media, so if you're trying to reach these persons individually and they are refusing to be reached, use your social media power to get to them. If you don't get to them, get to a local what's it called? A local media house. I have had to handle an investigative journalism issue before over a particular person who was being bullied by the government in the East. And we reached out to a very popular, media house person, representative. And to my shock, he didn't ask, I even asked him, do we need to pay for this? Because the person was willing to pay for it. And he said, no, it's free. So if that person, as I speak, has a very influential amount of following on social media. So, but you need to do your homework first to see who can help you out. You cannot just stay in isolation and say, I have 20 followers, or I don't have any social media handle. Then how do you want to effect change? The reason why accountability is important for these leaders is so that whoever is coming after them will see that these citizens are not taking no for an answer. They will see that as they are coming up, they are coming into hot water. They are not coming in to come and do however they choose. It's that there are people who are watching them and will ask them questions. And if they don't give responses, social media will go crazy on them. And it has been already proven that the government cannot hold down our social media strength. Even if they hold it down in Nigeria, we have a lot of Nigerians in diaspora who can stand up to make sure that people's voices are heard. So I think that these things are things that we should probably. So integrity will be one. Because when we're talking about competence of leaders, integrity should top that list, especially when it comes to Nigerian issues. Because of the issue of corruption that we are suffering today. It's because of a lack of integrity, a lack of accountability.
Thank you so much, Paula. Thank you very, very much. Anytime I do it,
I'm so sorry.
You speak with a lot of passion, and I greatly appreciate that. But just so I'm hoping we can wrap up soon. So if we can allow Odogu to speak, then after Odogu, I'd like to throw a question. Do we really, our generation, do we care where the next president comes from? But Odogu, if you can speak first, then we'll allow someone else to take that question of, do we care if the next president is from north, south, northwest, north central, south, southeast? Please go ahead, Odogu.
Banks, I would like to answer that question.
Let Odogu go first, then Bashir can go next, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone from here. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you listen from. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. When we talk about the voting in Nigeria, does it count or it's just a waste of time? I would say it's a waste of time. And the problem is, we Nigerians pretend as if we don't know the problem of Nigeria. And we go ahead every 4 years on a sham election. Or maybe we don't even have the idea what the problem is. Because there's a saying that said, it's insane doing the same thing and you're expecting a different result. We have been voting since 1999. Things have gotten worse instead of getting better. And some people have come to argue that no matter who you vote, even Jesus Christ will not change Nigeria. And I asked why. And the answer is simple. The system, the foundation, the structure of Nigeria can never ever allow anybody to perform, no matter who you vote. And we said, why can't we go to the foundation, pull out the blocks, fix it before we go to election, which is the Constitution? How can somebody govern this country with the kind of constitution we run. It's impossible. No matter, even if you bring the most innocent person in Nigeria, it's not going to work. We all know it. And nobody is talking about that. And we are running to go to election. You go to election and the person swear on the same constitution that doesn't allow you to have electricity, that doesn't allow you to give your village people electricity or give them employment. Why do we not deal with the issue than trying to be political correct? This is the problem we have as a people. We always run around try to go to easy way, and that easy way will make us to stuck. I have opportunity to talk to Paul Tommy, and I asked him, I said, in that forum, people asked questions, I said, sir, what is the problem of Nigeria? And he says, if we can be able to elect a good leader. And another question come to him and said, how do we elect a good leader? Because the people we see that are brought in themselves to become a leader has been there for years. And we know they are descendants of them. He said, you get involved in political process. And the last question was, but you as a person, you particular, as Pat Tommy, Prof. Pat Tommy, you have been involved in politics for over 40 years. What have you changed in that political process? The answer is nothing. Because if you have changed anything, tell me, for 60 years, no electricity. For 60 years, no good road. For 60 years, no hospital. For 60 years, no school. For 60 years, we can't even get one leader. And I'm telling everybody in this room, I don't know how many minutes I have, but I have to round up here. Our problem is not leadership. Our problem is not corruption. Because when you talk about leadership, if you bring Biden from America to Nigeria, he's going to fail. Then when you talk about corruption, we are no more corrupt than America. We are currently reside. We are no more corrupt than Britain. We are no more corrupt than this Western world. But why can't we have electricity? It borders to the point that the foundational structure of Nigeria can never ever allow Nigeria to progress in 1 billion years, no matter who you elect. So when you tell people to go and vote, get your PVC, all these things are a waste of time because we have to focus on the real problem, which is the foundation of Nigeria. It's happening in Ethiopia, it's happening in Nigeria, everywhere. Why? Because the colonial masters still lay their chain on us. Because if you cannot progress where they put fake boundaries for us to trade upon. And when you talk about the people in leadership who are benefiting from this system, we said, oh, don't worry, let's go to election, then we'll fix it. Then they go and sway with that constitution. And then you ask them for what they said during their campaign. They will not have any, they are not accountable to you. Go and look at your constitution. Then you come and say, how is somebody is going to fix Nigeria? Every country obeys the law. And that law is what makes a country and the system. It's not strong men, it's strong. You can only build a nation, a strong structure, where whoever comes. Everybody see what happened in America because of their structure. That's why Trump was not able to win the second election. But can it happen in Nigeria? No. So let us tell ourselves the truth, the painful truth, that Nigeria will not work with the constitution it has, no matter who you vote. Even for you to go to organize this election, how are you going to do it? Because the people have money more than you even think. They can do anything to make sure they retain the power. When you rise, they kill all of you. What happened to our people in Togit? So let's tell ourselves the truth. The foundation is wrong, and you want to build it with a beautiful, expensive materials. It will collapse like a pack of cards that happened in Ikoyi. That is the problem. Why can't we look at the problem? The foundation. They said when a house, no matter how the house is no matter the material, as soon as the foundation is wrong, no matter what, you just ask yourself. For 60 years, we can't get even one single leader They will tell you 1963 Nigeria worked when there was a regional government. And my question will always be, if Nigeria was working, what was the need for the coup that truncated the whole system? Because it's not working. Some people are getting it, some people are not getting it. That was a coup. So if you say Nigeria have worked since it was formed, we can't get a leader. We have leaders like Jakonde, we have like Awolowo, we have leaders like Michael Obara, we have people like Amadou Bello. All these things are leaders. And you are telling us that we have to vote a good leader. Where is that leader coming from? We know that the Constitution can never allow any leader to operate. Then why do we want to go to election without taking down that Constitution? Simple question. Why can't we demand that this Constitution should have to be brought down and let people decide their fate before we go to election? Then we go to election in 4 years. Another 4 years we come crying again. Because this government that is in power now told us that they're going to do restructuring. Do they do it? No, because they are not accountable. They are not accountable to you. So by the time we put the system that can make people accountable to the people, which is democracy, that's when you can have a result. Because you can't tell me a country of 60 good years cannot be. Go and check out the data. Our former is always better. Our previous president or government will always be better than the former. If you look at it, Obasanjo was better than Yaradua. Yaradua is better than Jonathan. Jonathan is better than Buhari. And another person that is coming Buhari is going to even be better than their person, no matter where you come from. We all live in a Western world. It's abiding my family, is it from my village? But is it in London, is it UK, is it from your village? But whatever is your benefit, you get it without knowing who is in power. Because of the structure and the system of the government or the system that is in place already. But in Nigeria, if you don't know this person or that person, you don't get anything. We common man cannot get nothing. All of us have lived. What have Nigeria done for any of us? If you are not, what Nigeria is breeding every day is criminals. That's all Nigeria can provide because of the structure and the system. And when you tell people that all these things you are chasing for good leaders are everywhere. I asked somebody who is his father has been a leader in the country. You are telling me that your father is not a good leader. When you tell me that leadership is the problem of Nigeria, we know the problem. They know the problem, but we're all living in denial that we don't know. The problem of Nigeria is the foundation, the constitution that's supposed to make you what you are and make a country to function like a place human beings can inhabit and not well articulated by the people. This is a decree. And we are saying, can't we take down the constitution? Let our people decide by referendum the way forward before we go to another election. People will say you are calling for war. The government told you that calling for restructuring is calling for war. You're calling for secession, calling for war. Because we are black. Britain asked for referendum to leave EU. Nobody were killed. It was a round table sit down and dialogue. Why can't we sit down and come together and say, no, we can't continue like this. What will be the future of our children? What Nigeria is doing today, they are killing their best. If they can't kill you, you run away. And that's the only solution. If you want to provide that you are the best and you can fix this system, they will go for you. Either they kill you or you run away. And that's why everywhere you go, Nigerians are striving. But when they come to their home country, because we don't have any citizen, nobody is a citizen of Nigeria. Because we don't have anything to say about how we are being governed. That is why if you vote from now till thy kingdom come, Nigeria will never ever work. So have it in mind that you can vote. I don't go against anybody voting, but the truth should be told. Let's go back to foundational problem that we have, which is the constitution that are not favoring anybody. How can you tell me for me to generate electricity in my village, I have to go to Abuja to look for approval? Even when I got the approval and generate this electricity, I have to send it to National Grid for it to come back to my village for it to work. Who does that?
So if you don't mind me, chiming in. So let's bring it back. I understand the frustration. It's tiring. But how do we now make sure this anger that I sense in your voice, that I sense in the voice of a lot of people, how do we now turn this into action? What's the end goal? How do we get this to reflect in 2023?
The energy we are using, the energy. No, I'm going to wrap up with that. Thank you for the question. It's very, very good question. The energy we are putting, try to preach about, get your PVC, go and vote, form thought force. Why can't we put it together and ask for a constitutional dialogue? Let's all of us come and decide how this thing is going to work before we go to election. Why can't we add our voices and say, no, we can't go to election with this fourth constitution? The people have, where's the power of the people? Where is the power? Ask yourself, where is the power of the people? They say power belongs to the people. It don't belong to they never said the power belongs to the legislators, the president, never. And even in the religious part, they will say the voice of people and the voice of God. Where is the power of the people? So the power belongs to the people. Whatever the people make up their mind to demand, they will get it. But one thing, the problem is, Nigerians, the few elites, if you go to election, I tell you, in the next 4 years, if you go to election, the only people that are going to benefit is about 1,500 and something people. From presidency to House of Assembly to the governors and all that. The remaining 200 million people are going to live their life in penury. So these 200 and something million, who is going to support this 1,500 to benefit? And the crumbs few will get. Why not put your voice and say, no, we have found out the problem of our people, and which is the constitution. We have to bring this constitution to a kneel and make a new constitution for us to have a good election. If you check the history of Nigeria, even every country, they go to constitutional review before they even go to another election. We have known that this election, have we gone to any constitutional review since 1999? The one that Jonathan called, they no one to implement it. So why can't we go for a constitutional review? And ask let our people join their voice from east, west, north, and south and say, we demand a constitutional review before we go to another election. That's simple. The power of the people have to be activated. Simple.
Thank you very much. That was deep. That was strong. Bashir, please, you have the floor.
Okay, hi, Banks. And thank you, everyone that's on this platform. I actually want to speak on 3 to 4 issues. When we talk about, some speakers have actually mentioned about electronic voting, and I was unable to say anything because of how the platform is structured. When we talk about electronic voting and transmission of results, the excuses that most of the current political office holders gave is how it's not going to be visible because of the level of education and everything. When they say level of education, we know the region they are referring to, Dr. Nigeria. But I will tell you on this platform, my grandmother, she's 91 years. She has a mobile phone. Yes, she has a mobile phone, and we call her. She's 91 years. She has never had any Western education. But just like a little caution, and then we can call her, and then she'll pick up, and then you introduce yourself, and that's just it. So the point I'm trying to make on this particular topic is, when they say electronic voting, we need to be developed to a certain level before we get to that, and all those things, they're trash, like trash talk. I'm from one of the remotest states in northern Nigeria, and I'm telling you this based on my experience. If my 91-year-old grandmother have her cell phone and I can call her, I could call her right now, and then everybody can hear us talk. All I need to do is, once it rings, she's gonna pick, and I'll introduce myself. So the issue of having trying to kill that lofty objective is more like these guys are trying to entrap us in the past. We're in 21st century. My father had a mobile phone he passed on so many years ago, and he never had the chance of being into have a formal education. So when people try to use that, especially representatives from my own part of the country, trying to level of Western education to achieve their political goal. I'm telling you, banks, that is rubbish. We can have electronic voting, mobile transmission of results, and everything, like using electronics, because even people around here have gotten to know the fact that like the best thing that has happened to us is technology. So nobody should use that excuse of we need our people to like be enlightened to a certain level. No, you don't need them to be enlightened to a certain level. You're only using them because they have not been enlightened. But I can tell you, if what you were to be done like USSD, my mother in the village, my aunties, my uncles, and all of them who would celebrate more than us that are using iPhone 12, iPhone 13, or whatever gadget we're using. So the issue of trying to like kill electronic voting and everything based on excuses about our level of exposure, especially in northern Nigeria, is actually non-existent. That's one. The second point I would like to make is when we talk about like getting changes, we have to know, unless we're involved in the process, the political process, the structure as it is against us, the young people. And there's nothing we can do about that unless we get involved with it in the process and then try to like influence it and even change it. I'll give you an example. When the Not Too Young bill was about to be passed, one of the few states that was against it was my own state. And guess what? We have to like go out of our normal day-to-day engagement and then engage these people and then show them like, look, with or without you, this bill is gonna be passed. Are you going to be part of history, or you're going to carry a burden till the end of your lives that you feel were amongst the people that oppose this? I actually have to like travel to my state capital and then engage like about 4 house members. My state have like 3 House of Assembly members, and then look, in the end of the day, they were forced to like also like join the queue because it was obvious to them like with or without them, it was gonna be passed. Then I asked myself, there's a current member, I'm not gonna mention his name. A very young person, a progressive. He was the guy that led this engagement. We worked with him and he convinced his older members and everything. At the end of the day, we're able to like get their support to pass out that Not Too Young to Run bill. But if he were not there, he became a member in 2015, like same member. If he was not there, trust me, we're not gonna get that. So, us young people, regardless of our anger and our displeasure and the discouragement of the system, we have to be involved with it. I was looking at the statistics of Anambra election. Can you see, like the governor emerged with less than 200,000 votes. The member of my constituency, Groje constituency, emerged with 159,000 votes. You can see, like, look, we're talking about Anambra State. Forget it. Yes, I'm from Taraba State. I'm from the north. But a state as sophisticated as Anambra State have less than 300,000 people to determine who their next governor is. That's a big problem. We cannot fight this system from the trenches. We have to move on, get involved in the process in our little ways. Okay, that particular member I took off became a member in 2015, but he was instrumental to the passing of the Not Too Young bill like in Taraba and Adamawa State. He's like the youngest among us of them. So he was the guy that we like got involved and then talked to, and then he was traveling between Taraba and Adamawa, and then he was able to like pull these guys through, like pull them, and then they get it. So if we don't get involved in the system, can talk about having to like revisit the foundation. We cannot
But
get
sure,
into
but sure, I agree with you. I mean, you've spoken very well. I mean, so we don't keep just going back. We must get involved.
Okay, can
Just
I
round up, please.
Okay, so the last thing I'm going to say is, as much as we despise the system, if we don't get involved in the system, we're not going to make any changes. Even if we end up making those changes, it may not be in a way that is pleasing to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bashir. That was very great comments. Charlie's along the line of what everybody else has been saying. Sega, would you like to?
Can I please give you something fast, please? Can I just like 2 minutes?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, at Odogu, I have some question. I don't know, maybe it's either I'm not good with English or maybe you're trying to use English to confuse us here. Because I have been engaging many people who talk about restructuring. Well, without even using Alexa out, without even using dictionary to define the word restructuring, all of us here can agree that it means repositioning, reshaping, possibly rebuilding, to restructure something, to reposition something. Now, in a democratic setting, how do you achieve restructuring or to restructure something? It is by the means of laws. And laws can either be passed by the legislative arm of government or through decree or bill from the government, from the president. And now, we know that we have lawmakers, either by the Senate, House of Representatives, or House of Representatives of the state level. Now, every week or every month they pass laws which changes the system of government, or maybe a new decree. For example, before we were not having too young to lead bill, and today we have it. That situation has already been restructured. So when we talk about restructuring, because in many times we have always incited and deceived our youths. When you say restructuring, let's do restructuring, what exactly do you mean? Are you talking about going back to regional government? Are you talking about to bring another form of government? What is that restructuring? We need these things to be spelled out. We shouldn't just come out and say we need restructuring, we need restructuring. That's a blank statement. What exactly do we want? Why I'm saying this is because I am of the opinion that our country is being restructured with every new bill or any new law that comes to the structure of government. So let us always be specific when we talk about restructuring. So I will like you to answer me, but before you go on, please. You said that the problem is the constitution, and I will tell you, the problem is not the constitution. The problem is the Nigerians. I've always said it. Nigeria is not bad. Nigerians are bad. The American constitution cannot work in Nigeria. The British constitution cannot work in Nigeria. The German constitution cannot work in Nigeria. Germans can live with Nigerian constitution. Americans can live with Nigerian constitution. It is we, the people, who will always find means to misinterpret the constitution to favor us that had a problem. But now, please, you can answer.
Please, can I say one last thing that actually escaped my mind? Sorry about
Okay. Go ahead, please, before the will come up.
Okay, please, Mr. Segali, please unblock me. I don't know why you blocked me. Please unblock me. That's what I wanted to say. But
All right, well, that one is personal matter. The floor is now open. Ojo, would you like to
the
respond?
first platform I had.
Yes, I want to respond.
Odogu, please, you have the floor, please.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. What's the name of the person that asked me a question? It's Toby. You know, when people talk like this, I begin to wonder, what do they mean when you say restructuring? And what do you mean by restructuring? Even we are not even calling for restructuring. It's too late to restructure Nigeria because Nigeria will not work. And when they said when the foundation is wrong, what would the righteous do? And he said Nigeria. He's not blaming the victim. He's trying to blame the Nigerians. But what I want to tell you, we said the constitution is bad, and he said when they have the law is giving power from the people. For you to have a law, the law have to be come from the people, and the people have the power to withdraw the law. So when you talk about our constitution, who wrote the constitution? Who made this constitution we are running with? It was decreed by the military rulers. And we're in democracy. And they say the democracy is the power of the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And the people by the people means you have to give this constitution a life. If this constitution is not favorable to the people, all they demand is to withdraw the constitution. This is their power. To the people, whoever vote, whether the president, whether it's a president, whether it's a House of Rep, you give them what they used to work for you. Now the material you give them that work for you are not working. You withdraw it from them. That's the power of the people. So what are you talking about like they are calling for restructuring? This is the one makes me my brain strange. When people think that Nigeria can work with this kind of constitution, have you gone through that constitution? Even in the chambers of the National Assembly, a man rise up and said, "This constitution will never give us development. This constitution can never give us progress. This constitution can never ever bring good things for Nigeria." And we are saying as a people, before we go to next election, can we review this constitution? Let the people review this constitution and give it a life before we go to next election. And you said when you have to go to election there, and those people will structure it. Can you use the instrument of a big man's house to destroy his house? Who does that? So when we talk like people, I want us to make some researches. I want us to do
your research. Nigerian constitution is based on 1999 constitution. No. You said that Nigerian constitution is by the military. It's not true. 1999 constitution is what we're.
Can you listen to me? Don't interject. This is one thing I don't like with this one Nigerian people. You believe Nigeria will work for you. How can Nigeria have not worked for you for the past 60 years? You believe Nigeria will work for you with this constitution? How have Nigeria not worked for you since 1999? Why can't we sit down and ask ourselves, what is the problem?
Oh, no, quick question. If you don't mind me asking, please, this is Banks. Let me ask a very layman question, right? Because, you mentioned one Nigeria. If we were to divide Nigeria, along what lines we will divide Nigeria, please?
Thank you very much, Bank. Thank you very much. You know, what people don't understand that if you come to Europe, ask yourself, the landmarks of Africa is bigger than Europe. But Africa is only 10 countries bigger than Europe. If you go to Europe, you see countries that are not even up to 2 million. When you look at their GDP is even better than Nigeria of 200 million people. You ask yourself why? Because these countries are divided according to their ethnic lines. In Nigeria, we have...
Odogu, sorry, I'm just going to be asking you questions. Let me just engage you personally on this one, because it's something I've always wanted to at least, have a good understanding from. Before we get to GDP, okay, we have 36 states and how many tribes and ethnic groups in Nigeria? If we are going to divide Nigeria by ethnic lines, just give me an example. How many regions are we breaking it into?
It doesn't matter how many people come out from Nigeria. We have ethnic nation, Ijaw nation, Ibibio nation, Igbo nation, Yoruba nation. We are up to, Yorubas are almost 70 million. Igbos are more than...
Okay, now, so which now goes to my question. As a Yoruba boy from Osun, if you decide to break into Yoruba nation, we'll go into Yoruba nation. I'm just using an example. Mother Keke that is still fighting Ife. What would happen at that point if they tell you that they want their own little nation? Or the Jaws, the Delta will tell you, they are different from the regular Isekiris. So when does it stop?
Okay, Banks, let me tell you. I think there's a country, was it Slovakia and all that? They keep breaking till they get to a point where everybody understands each other. You have to break according to your ethnic and value system. When you have the same value system with people, you can exist and make progress. But the way Nigeria is today, it's not going to make progress in the 1 million years. You know why? We'll keep fighting where the president come from. We have almost more than 290 ethnic group in Nigeria. And if we start breaking Nigeria, if we start fighting for who will be the president every 8 years, most of us will die over and over again and come back. The president have not even reached to us. And the disadvantage of that, when anybody comes from any ethnic to become the president, whether he perform or not, their ethnicity will defend him because he's come from them. So because we don't have the same, even as Nigeria is constructed today, we don't even have the same value system. The North are practicing Sharia. 12 states in the North are practicing Sharia. They're breaking bottles of beer. But me and you from the South can drink beer comfortably and sit down and talk. We say we're having a secular state. And now some part of that state, you are saying a secular state, are practicing religious constitution. There's a penal code or what do they call it? But me and you in the South cannot do the same thing we do in the South, but we're in the same country. What kind of country that operates that way? So when you talk about Nigeria,
Odogu, sorry, I had to meet you, Odogu. Sorry. Odogu, so reason is, yes, I want you to wrap up, so I'm going to give you the mic back, but I need you to wrap up.
Okay, can I continue?
Go ahead, please, just wrap up, please.
I'm trying to tell you is that we have to divide Nigeria on ethnic line. But before that happens, the simple question is, can we have a referendum for people to decide on this thing? That's the only. If you go by the constitution, if you go by taking by the ethnicity we are doing, we have over 250 something ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, and you want to. The president is coming from a judge's 8 years. He's coming from this. He's coming from that. It will not bring any performance. All we'll be fighting every year is where the president comes from, and there's not going to be any progress.
Thank you very much.
Progress is just to make sure that we align by our ethnicity and value system. That's the only way to go.
Thank you very much, Odogu. I mean, over 290 ethnic groups. It would be nice to see how many 290 presidents. But so for now, Oludi, then followed by.
Can you please allow 1 more minute to answer the question on restructuring? What exactly is meant with restructuring? Please give me 1 more minute. I will answer that question for you.
I think we spoke at length. Oludi has the floor now, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Odogu, thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much, Odogu.
All right. I'm just going to read something quickly to us. It's from Genesis 11. Chapter 6, Genesis verse 11, chapter 11, verse 6. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. So, effectively, the reason I read that is this, that when a people are united in a way that allows for them to align intentions, nothing is impossible. When the people are divided in a way that makes it impossible for them to align intentions, nothing is possible. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. So for those who are saying, look, let us revisit this thing. Let us look at the basis upon which we are seeking to live together and work together so that we may find alignment that allows for us to make anything, to remove impossibilities from our lexicon. We can go to the moon. We can go to the deepest parts of the ocean. We can build satellite stations. We can do whatever it is we want to do. There has to be alignment. So I'll leave that and I'm going to move on to the next thing. Voting in Nigeria, does it count or is it just a waste of time? I'll flip it the other way around. When you vote, it is counted, potentially. But now the question is, does your votes count in the outcomes you get from the voting? And which is why when the people say to you, voting does not count, that is exactly what they're trying to say. That when we do go out to vote, it does not reflect in our lives by virtue of the fact that, yes, we will vote, but then the situation does not change. I am still my own security provider. I provide my own water board. I provide my electricity. I will tar the road in front of my house. I will build drainage so that my house doesn't get flooded. And it goes on and on and on. Now, that is fundamentally the problem. So why do we have this problem? Why do we have this problem? The reason we have that problem, some have identified, but we're refusing we're refusing to come to that realization ourselves. And so we keep having these arguments. The reason you keep having that problem is because the basis of that relationship is defective, which is what Odogu is trying to say. When a foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The basis of that alignment, the basis of what Nigeria is defective. So we need to go back and look at that basis.
Now, before people start talking about voting, yes, you can vote. It's okay. I have protested the elections in Nigeria. I remember in 2018, I reached out to Sheka before I decided to go protest again. And, we had this banter on Twitter on the time. And in the first channel, I sent him my telephone and I said, look, I wanted to have a conversation with you. If he answers me tomorrow.
So people will come and tell you all kinds of stuff. The reason NSAS took place, and people can point guns. People can point guns and shoot people's children dead. Singing national anthem and holding the flag is because Nigeria is the way it is. The basis for that association needs to be renegotiated. The reason any idiot can just do anything and get away with it is because Nigeria is structured to be that way. So when people come and start gaslighting people, sorry, when I talk about NSAS, I become really emotional. I'm sorry. When people come and start gaslighting people and asking, what is restructuring? Fundamentally, the question is this: let the people decide. So when you start talking, okay, how many ethnic lines are you going to break up to? Let the people decide. Give it to the people. The Constitution derives legitimacy from the people. Let the people decide. If an Osun State person wants to have his own country, so be it. The right to self-determine has to be firmly on that table. Let the people decide. People will come and gaslight you and tell you, if you put the NSAS on the agenda for 2023, it is not going to change anything. People will just ride on the blood of the people who have died at that toll gate and during that crisis across Nigeria to get into power, and nothing will change. Nothing will change. I have engaged this process. 3 times. Millions down the toilet. Nothing is going to change. The people...
Let me ask you a question. Where are you from? What state are you from?
Lagos.
Okay, Lagos. Seems a lot of people are from Lagos. So everybody on Twitter are just claiming Lagos, okay? Now let me ask you a direct question. What do you think of the Lagos for Lagos that I've been hearing about? And do you know anything of it?
Jando's movement.
Oh, I don't know who's in charge, but yeah.
His name is Jando. They call him Jando. I can't remember. I did something. What do I think about Lagos for Lagos? Will he make a difference? I doubt it. No. The only thing that's going to happen if people get behind him is that he may get elected as governor of Lagos State. But will that change anything? No. No, it won't. It won't. Because the basis upon which he will be governor is that 1999 Constitution. And this is also another jamboree for somebody to attain power and become whatever it is they want to become and hijack the system. So his fight now is against one person. And the hierarchy that guy has set in Lagos, his fight is against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Once he gets whatever it is he wants, he too will try to build structures around himself to perpetuate himself. We can't continue like this. This is not going to work. Banks, you don't know me, but I know you. A lot of people don't know me here. But and I'm not going to give anything away. But I know you, and I know you very well. And I know most people here. Look, we can't keep fooling ourselves and letting people ride on our backs and on the blood of the innocent Nigerians.
So what's the solution? Now let's talk solution. Use the last 1 minute to wrap up what you think.
So very quickly, there's been a lot of conversation in terms of where do we go from here. So a lot of people who are saying, who are thinking, who have seen this thing are saying to you, we need to look at our constitution and revalidate the basis of our cooperation. So that is one. That's the solution. We need to look at that. Now, how do we look at that? Niners, out of all of the people that arguments have been seen, Niners, the one that's presented by Niners makes sense to me. Okay? Let us stop 2023. Don't go into elections. Let everybody who is there now, Buhari will remain there. The people who are elected in the NAS will be there. People who are in the reps will be there. Governors will be there. members of House of Assembly will be there. And let us now begin to have the conversation, what we need to do with our constitution. Let's come up with another constitution. And then we'll go into the next election and everything's going to be okay. At least we'll set ourselves on a path to being a nation that we can be. If you look at the history of Nigeria, there were 4 constitutional conferences before or arrangements in London and other places before 1960. And so elections will take place. Awolowo, Zik, all of them, Sadana, all of them will go and say, okay, fine, these things are wrong. Let us adjust this. And say, okay, no election. We adjust it. They release another election. So you have McPherson, you have this one, you have Clifford, you have also. Those are constitutional changes, are birthing constitutions. And that's why they were called different names. McPherson, Clifford, this one, that one. They were birthing constitutions that took us into independence. So the fact that we have a constitution in 1999, and we're saying this thing is not working. I have engaged it. It's not working, it will not work. We're saying, let's look at this thing. Stop everything. Let's look at it. Let the people become citizens.
Thank you, Olu. Thank you so much. I mean, see, one thing I've noticed about Nigerians, there's a lot of passion flying around, which I appreciate. And I appreciate, the suggestions you've made, especially for someone that's run for office. So we will take that into consideration, how to, at least you spoke rightly on the Constitution, trying to amend, change the Constitution. But they've been doing this over and over, and I still think there has to be a better way for us to amend this Constitution that would have the input of Nigerians from all parts of the world. So thank you for your contribution. I will open the floor to Akin to quickly say something, then take it to LNC, to the leading Nigeria's conversation.
I thought you said I'll go before.
Sorry, someone was saying something.
I thought you said I'll go after Odus.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Adika already know. Adika already right away, please. Right away. I totally forgot.
Yes,
sorry, right away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, good afternoon, everybody. I would like to start from the topic of discussion. Voting in Nigeria, does it count, or it is a waste of time? For those who are in the position of leadership, it counts. It is not a waste of time. For us who have lost interest in the nation, who are less concerned, but who complain on daily basis, who, when we feel the pinch of how the society is governed, the negative impact of policies, that is when we groan and groan and groan. But we are the one who decided and believe that voting does not count. But for those who are the practitioners, the politicians, they take it serious. They use their sweat, their blood, their finances to make sure that during election, they are up to it and they want results. But for us who believe we are citizens, who believe we are leaving it to them and we believe it does not count, I think that sort of thought needs to change. For the leaders, someone says we do not have a problem of leadership. What Nigeria has is a problem of leadership, and purely problem of leadership. Nigeria's constitution has been reviewed over time. I think if I can remember, someone mentioned about 4 times. I think I know about 3 times that the constitution has been reviewed in my lifetime. So what happens is that the society as it exists, it is never a perfect system, but leaders and the people work together in making sure that they improve the society, they improve the system. Now, what has happened is that some people have hijacked the system, while others have looked away or withdraw into their houses and then stay in their houses and under their shelter and groan, while others continue to ride on the polarization of the society to continue to do what they do. So, for there to be solution, Mr. Odus mentioned one thing: unity of purpose. One thing that has become an unfortunate event again, that has given leverage to the politician, is also the activities of civil society. Civil society springs up, but rather than take the business of social re-engineering and engineering seriously, in making sure that they back the citizens and see how the society develops and defend policies and improve policies. They establish themselves so that they can be recognized by those who have put themselves in charge of the system, so that they can also ride on that to get into the circle.
Sorry, if you can wrap up. So, question or contribution, please. Thank you.
All right. So the thing is that the politicians do not, at this point, do not care about the educated part of the society. You will see that the people who they quote the most are those who are the less privileged, illiterate, and less educated, less informed members of the society. And those are the ones who decide who becomes the leader of society, while others who are informed, who are privileged, who are educated, who are civilized, those ones feel unconcerned and unperturbed, or feels that they cannot waste their energy. So this is why we have continued, rather than the literate one influence the lower cadres of society, we have continued to sideline ourselves, leaving the downtrodden to keep being manipulated into deciding the fate of the generality of the society. That's one. Secondly, we need to encourage the people to get involved. Voting as to not just voting to choose a leader, but based on the issues currently about society, looking for a leader who appeared to be one that could make things happen based on different issues that exist, to change the dimensions of what is currently happening. So another thing again is there is no direction of thought for the people. We seem as a people to go on a bandwagon of thoughts. Whoever makes the loudest noise, whoever flaunts the highest wealth, is whom we hail and follow at a certain time, while others come up, we trail and follow them at another time. I think people need to sensitize members of their family, friends, colleagues. Let sensitizations happen in different parts of society. Then when we go towards election, we can know what we are voting for.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very much, Adikari, and I agree with you. So right now, let's I'll come back to you, Aki, because you've spoken before. Let's allow leading Nigeria's conversation. I usually would only allow like proper faces to speak.
Okay.
But yeah, Andrew should go on leading Nigeria's conversation.
Okay. I would next time I take that on board. Next time I'll use my proper handle. My name is Njenje. I started leading Nigeria's conversation. I've listened to I must thank you, Banks, for starting this topic. As at the moment there are 314.
Sorry for the record. Somto started this conversation, but his internet was acting up, so I will not take credit for that. Somto, my friend, very good friend, Somto started this conversation. I'm just filling in for him. I just needed to clarify that. And thank you. And thank you for Sega and everybody that's helped to push it, and everyone as well. I just wanted to clarify. Somto started it. Please give him all the credit. Thank you. Okay. That says a lot about your integrity. Thank you for pointing that out. And it's good to see the number of people on this platform and on this topic. And again, it goes to show how passionate Nigerians are. I'm a very, very practical person. And that was why I started leading Nigerians conversation. I want us to talk. I want us to discuss. But, you did mention something, Banks, about what is the solution. And that is always we always go back to that.
what is the solution? It's good to talk. And everybody talks a good talk. But what is the solution? And do you know what I think? We could talk for hours. But as long as we are not in a position of influence, nothing is going to happen. Listen, we have the privilege of having Shagun here. He's there. NSAS, we have a model of a platform. NSAS, if we, and this is a suggestion, if we start end rigging, for instance, and focus on how we can end rigging, that will start a process. Rather than keep on talking, listen, we have a topic here, voting in Nigeria, does it count or is it just a waste of time? Majority, or if we can take, what's it called, if people can vote on this platform and ask how many people have voted, how many of us on this platform, over 300 of us, how many have voted? I just do not want to take a guess. How many people go out to vote? Many people have it. They have that psychology that, listen, you vote, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. And that is the attitude majority of Nigerians have. That voting is not going to change anything. So how can we change that attitude? Look at what Shagun is doing with NSAS together with many other people. I know Shagun wouldn't want to take the lead. He wouldn't want to take the credit. But NSAS was covered by CNN, by Al Jazeera, by the mainstream international news organizations all over the world. Why? The success. The movement was recognized. And it goes to show that whatever Nigerians decide to put their hands at, decide to unite to do, we will succeed. We are united behind our musicians, the Davidos, the Whiskies, the Bonner Kings, the True Face. We are united behind them. And that is why there's success in the world today. What is the solution? The solution is for us to engage ordinary Nigerians, to have a movement where we can educate ourselves on the usefulness of educating those in the villages, those in towns, as to the reason why voting is a must. We can talk about the Constitution. We are outside Aso Rock. We are not senators. We are not members of the House of Representatives. We can talk about changing the Constitution, but are those in power, are they interested in changing the Constitution? Are they interested in changing the Constitution? So how can we get them to change the Constitution? It's by coming together as a unit, like NSAS did, and then to form ourselves as a bloc, to influence those we have elected into power. It's interesting, the statistics that's been bantered. 200,000 people decided the election in Anambra State. That is incredulous. 200,000 people. So I'm going to end on this note. Let us talk solutions. People talking about Nigeria and we need to be, again, we need to be very, very careful with the words we banter around. We say, oh, Nigeria is not working. And then we are surprised that Nigeria is not working. We say that Nigeria is not a nation. And we are surprised that Nigeria is.
Thank you very much. Well, just to piggyback, people keep saying, I know there's power in songs, power in word. But if the country is not working, should I keep giving ourselves round around that yes, it is working and deceiving ourselves? But that's I think we should just wrap up now, though. I mean,
okay. I understand that. I understand that, Banks. However, if I keep on telling myself or keep on telling my children at home that listen, you guys are not doing well, you guys are not working, we need to say things that will spur people to do the right thing. That is all I'm saying. We need to be solution oriented rather than keep on talking about. Everybody knows the problem. Everybody knows the problem, but we need to be united behind the solution. Thank you for
all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So Aki wanted to speak, but I think it's gone now.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Banks. No, I'm still here.
Go ahead.
I'm still here, please. Okay. Yes, I'd like to touch on the issue of this restructuring of the Constitution, and I would rather advise that we walk from the known to the unknown. How do I mean? You see, the Constitution cannot be changed just by the will of the people alone. Like the last speaker just said, it has to also be there has to also be a need or an interplay of a sincere and sensitive leadership. It is the interplay of these two groups that will actually cause a constitution to change. Now, we can't say we want to hold the constitution and make Buhari or the present government at the last day, and then no, it won't work because that's still against the current constitution. So the very least we can do to create this foundational change is start from where we are down to the. If you want to go to the foundation of the matter, you can't just go down. No, you have to start digging from where you are and keep going to the focus of the matter. What I'm trying to explain here is this. You need to first vote the sensitive leaders who understand that this constitution is flawed in a number of ways, to get into power, to do what they need to do to influence a constitutional change backed by the people. It will not be just the people. Okay, for example, we thank God for what happened in EDSAS, and we saw what happened. But for me, I believe that even a more sensitive and sincere government will keep giving us feedback of how the police is being reformed, of how they have listened to the yearnings of the people, of how, okay, the people who did the massacre have been brought to books. We have not heard about this. So we can see, like the other speaker has said, the mindset of the leadership and the government we have concerning this matter. So, and you see, a people deserve the kind of leadership they get, however we want to look at it. Leadership most times reflects the value and the philosophies of the people as of now. It's not as if the people don't want, but democracy is we voted them in, however we want to look at it. Whether they rigged it in or whether they rigged themselves in, however it is, they are our people and they are there. So the first thing is, election and credible election has to be the way into reforming, and because the will of the people, yes, but if the government is not sincere, if they are not ready to change the constitution, there is nothing we can do. So if you're going to go to the foundation, you still have to dig into the foundation. That's my point. On electronic voting, I believe, for example, in the U.S. military, people vote who are outside U.S. The U.S. military, for example, they vote outside the U.S. There's also a provision for absentee voting. There's also voting by mail. But I know that we are not there yet. So let's even get to the stage where electronic voting is accepted, is being used. We go back to the drawing board in the next election, because all these things we are saying will not happen in the space of 2 years or just 2020. It's a marathon, like the other speaker said. So it's a developmental, progressive issue. When we start embracing electronic voting, then we can now say, okay, people in diaspora have investment in Nigeria. They too must have a say in what is going on in the government of this country. And then we start embracing, like for example, in Brazil, they have a wonderful electronic voting process. So we can learn from them. So those are the major two things, and then concerning competence, many speakers have dwelt on this. So I won't even, competence is the core of the leadership, of a good leader. The lead, you must be able to sense that this leader has a vision. He's taking me somewhere. Most of the leaders we have, they don't have this vision. They are not seeing it, and we can't buy into their vision. So most of the time, we need to start looking, not just the youth. It's not about just the youth. We need to look at the competent ones, the ones that really have done something outside government, who have done something while they were in government, and who will actually lead us out of this thing. That's my own, 1 cent concerning this issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I just want to check, is Sega still with us? Okay, so let me see. Who else?
Yeah, I'm here.
Because people have been accusing you that you blocked them now, so I wanted you to reply some of them. And also,
okay, my amnesty program. Okay, you're talking about the amnesty program. Yeah, you see, one thing here is that I'm just trying as much as possible to show people that we need not connect our emotions, to argument. The fact that I don't agree with you should not birth a hatred. It should not make you to be rude to me, because I will never be rude to you. I'm a private citizen. I'm trying as much as possible to contribute my quota, create platform for everybody to find expression. There's no need or point of hatred or of insulting people. And if you cannot engage, with courtesy, that's the reason why I block. Not because I don't like you, not because I don't want to hear from you, but because I'm tolerant enough to listen to you. I'm accommodating enough to hear from you and to even act on your petition on your behalf without asking for a penny back. So why should I get insult and hatred from that? So that's the only reason. So if you people feel, oh, we've learned the lesson, we've understood this, and we will engage better, why not? I can release everybody and unblock everybody, and then we'll start afresh. But I believe that we all deserve to be kind. We all deserve to treat other people nicely, and that's the only thing I'm trying to tell the world or to my audience by using the block button, because I deserve my own peace too. My mental health is very important, because I'm still a husband, I'm still a father, I'm still an uncle to somebody, who would not like the way people treat you out here because you put yourself outside.
Thank you very much, sir. For me, one of my biggest things is, I have respect for you. Sometimes we might have our differences here and there, but I have great respect for you. I think what I just continue to beg you and beg everyone of our generation is, let us find ways to disagree without being disagreeable, and let us find ways to work together. At the end of the day, we only have one Nigeria. You've contributed great quota, and you deserve your respect. People must respect you on and off social media. So, because the reason why I asked that question, some guys will send me a message on Twitter, but sure, that I should please beg you that you should unblock him. So, I guess I'm begging on his behalf. Should I do that? Yeah, I think. But yeah, so thank you very much. Next speaker. The floor is open.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I always love to have conversations like this, because it really goes to talk about issues bothering Nigeria. For starters, I will first of all say, like one of my brothers here said, the votes only count for the politician who is seeking office. For the people who are voting, your vote does not count. That's the way it is. And let me continue to say it. I will say it here. Voting to me is a waste of time, because we've been voting for 60 years. Nigeria is 61 years old, right? We've been voting for 61 years. What has changed? Nothing has changed. We will continue to deceive ourselves. This is one problem I have with we as black people. We like to deceive ourselves a lot. When you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror, are you proud to come from a country like Nigeria? Are you proud to wake up each day to bear the identity called Nigeria? Maybe some of you don't know what the history of Nigeria is all about. Nigeria did not even get its name. We did not even come together when we even gained independence. Other countries in Africa were changing their name. They were changing the names that their colonial masters gave them. We still bear the name given to us by a concubine, a side chick that later became a wife. And you expect us to make progress in life. You are wasting our time. Let's even start by asking this question. It's been 61 years since independence. Yes, we understood that the white people, the Europeans who came to colonize Africa, divided us along ethnic and religious lines. What effort did the stupid African leaders make to unite you and I? They capitalized on the division. And let's be honest, we are not one. This is the talk that gets me annoyed anytime when we talk about one world. I've never heard of one United Kingdom, one United States, or one Canada, or one Australia where I live in.
Your mic keeps coming in and out. You've spoken very well. Yeah, you're back now.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. We've been hearing since I was born. I've never heard of one United States, one UK, one Canada, one Australia that I live in. But we keep hearing one Nigeria. And we continue to deceive ourselves. Like funny people. We have been praying for 60 years that God should change our situation. Maybe God is even tired of listening to us.
And he knows that the solution to our problems are not prayers. Our solution is outright disintegration. We are not one. I'm an Edo person. I'm not an IPOP member. I share nothing in common with a Yoruba man. I share nothing in common with an Igbo man. I share nothing in common with the Hausa man. So why should I be in the country with the same people, with these people? They have their history. They have their culture. Europe is smaller by landmass compared to Africa, but Europe has more countries than any part of the world because everybody is supposed to be structured and built along their regional and their ethnic lines. It's just like now, you go to a lab, you put different chemicals, you are expecting a pleasant reaction. It's not going to happen. You're going to have an explosion. I am Edo. The way I think is different from that of the Yoruba man. The way I think is different from that of an Igbo man. I should be allowed to be with my own people. I share more in common with somebody from Delta State. I share more in common with someone from Delta. I have my people in River State, in Diobu, in Degema, in some parts of Port Harcourt. I have some of my people in Ondo State. They are called Akoko people. We have Edo nations scattered all over. That is what I want. Yeah, I can't live with my people along with my ethnic lines, along with my regional line. Nigeria will never work because Nigeria was structured to fail. Go and find out why the British even created Nigeria. Nigeria was a property of the Royal Niger Company that later became a country. And in case you don't know, the Constitution, during the 1914 amalgamation of the North and the South, it was said that the Union of Nigeria was supposed to run for 100 years, which is to tell you that Nigeria as a country itself has expired. It expired in 2014. And you come and you tell me our unity is not negotiable. For what? Go to the southeast, they are militarizing the whole area. But Gumi is simply romancing bandits. He's romancing Fulani herdsmen. He has not been called for questioning. He has never been arrested. But you are arresting Sunday Igboho. You are arresting Nnamdi Kanu for advocating for his people's freedom. And you tell me I am one Nigeria. Are you joking? Are we kidding? Or we think we are here to play? We are not here to play. If you like, go to the poll. From now till 200 years time, nothing is going to fucking change. Excuse me,
German. Please wrap up now. Thank you.
Yes, and the solution to the whole thing is simple. So let me just give you the solution in a minute. Total disintegration. A Yoruba man from Osun has more in common with somebody from Lagos. I'm Edo. I have no business with the Yoruba man. I don't hate the Yoruba nation. I don't hate the Igbo nation. But I believe we can be better neighbors. We don't have to be one. It's simple. Break this country. Even if this country is going to break, even if Nigeria is going to break down to 200 countries, so be it. Are we not tired of slavery? Are we not tired of this nonsense we practice? The reason why some of the elites, some people are saying that, but your leaders are not in support of this breaking away. It is simple. You think if tomorrow, if somebody like Tinubu was an Edo man, and we break and we have Edo nation, he will not try the nonsense he's trying in Lagos in Edo because we will treat this fuck up. So the reason they are looking for every way to ensure that we don't break is to ensure that they can continue with the system that shits them. Because the moment they enter, the moment we break, we will address them well. The system in Nigeria covers them. The 1999 constitution is a military-style constitution. It is not. It was written by the military. Go and do your findings. I'm not talking because I want to talk. Go and do your findings. The military, when they want to hand over power to civilian government in 1999, they wrote that constitution. That is why everything you see.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Exactly a military-style constitution. So on a final note, it's simple. Let us all break and go our separate ways. I yield the mic. Thank you.
All right, I was going to say wrap up the conversation, but I wouldn't wrap up with the last speaker as breaking up of Nigeria. We're all entitled to our opinion, and since I'm more for us standing together as a nation,
can you give him a phone, please?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Banks, for this opportunity. Thank you, Somto. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Shaga. Yeah, let me first start by saying this. I joined about an hour ago when I woke up. Nigeria cannot break up. Nigeria will not break up. In 2015, Nigeria was in Nigeria. And you see, yes, I agree with some speakers who have actually said the 1999 Constitution. Yes. I'm not coming here to talk about the problems. I just want to put in one or two things, Banks, and in 2 minutes I'm out of here. Yeah. From my own point of view, I think we need to delete the 1999 Constitution and start a new one. How do we go about a new one? We have to focus more on the National Assembly. You see, Banks, most people talk about Buhari, talk about this, about that, and everything. Even an ignorant knows that Buhari was the wrong candidate for Nigeria. But because of the agenda they're pushing forward, yes. How do we take Buhari out? It is the National Assembly. During Donald Trump's fourth term in America, the only person that could checkmate Donald Trump was Speaker Nancy Pelosi. That's the Congress. People are not focusing on the National Assembly. But if you remember when Senator Sharaki was during the 8th assembly when Sharaki was the Senate president, they couldn't have their ways. They saw Sharaki as the enemy. But because Sharaki was standing his ground, he stood his ground to let people know that no, this is not right. The young not too young to vote bill was passed during Sharaki's reign. Do you think if that was done probably this time around during these people with Abiyamila and what's his name, Lawan, that bill will still be there? People should focus more on National Assembly. Get involved in politics. See, someone was saying vote doesn't count. I disagree. I've seen where vote counts. It can't. Our vote. People voted in Edo State. People voted in Anambra State, and their votes counted. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not that eloquent talking, but I want to just focus on National Assembly. Those people that are there, they are rogues. Whether we like it or not, in 2023, the candidate of the PDP will be the president, or maybe APC. But I want us to know one thing. If you don't like what you are saying, focus more on National Assembly. Nobody has ever threatened impeachment on Buhari in that assembly. Buhari is not human. It's human. If something comes on and say, yeah, we are going to because somebody just said we're going to impeach the president, and he has a major vote in the House, the guy will shake now. Let's focus more on National Assembly. Somebody said people are not ready to vote. Yes, I'm not a candidate or a student of history, but there's something I want us to know today. People are more angry. This NSAS thing has actually opened people's eyes. If election comes today, people are going to vote. Forget about whatever it is. Forget about the fact that the vote will not count. I will not make it count. People are going to troop out to vote in 2023. I can assure you. Let's focus more on the people coming out to contest for the National Assembly and State House of Assembly. Talking about the third force, the ADC, yeah, the candidate is a good candidate, but did he even win a local government or a polling booth in Anambra, where he came from? We need to be focused. We need to come together. We cannot change or delete the 1999 Constitution if we do not elect people that have good character and have better plans in National Assembly. Elections have consequences, whether we like it or not. And election is not one on Twitter. And already, if you don't like what you are saying, just get your BBC, go out and vote. And I will say vote character, vote personality. Don't vote on religion, whether it's Satana or Northern or whatever. If you have a good candidate, and I can assure you, don't fight.
Sorry, let me, let me piggyback on what you just said right now, which is, so we've seen, okay, let me even know, where should the next president of Nigeria come from? Considering from 1999, we've had Obasanjo, we've had Yar'Adua, we've had Jonathan, we've had Buhari. Now, as young Nigerians, does it matter to you where the next president comes? Northwest, Northeast, North Central, Southeast, South, Southwest. can just keep our replies back to 2 minutes. Does it matter to you where the next person comes from, and why does it matter to you, or why doesn't it matter to you? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Franks. Yeah.
Can I add one more question so that he will answer it at the same time?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Do you see any possibility of a northerner or northerners, especially the youth? We are concentrating this conversation on the youth, on the Nigerian youth. Do you see any possibility of the northern youth and southwestern youth massively voting for a candidate, for example, who is from the southeast and believed to be the best of the candidates come 2023?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me first start with question answering. See, you know, some of us have practiced politics before, and we still plan to practice it in the nearest future. But you see, at this point in time, I'm not going to say that president should come from the southeast, or from the south side, or from the southwest, or from the northern part of Nigeria. I just want a good candidate. I just want a good candidate. Before, yes, we used to say, no, the next person must be southeast, and this person must be southwest, this one must be north, whatever. I am only planning and ready to do anything for a credible candidate. The word credibility, either a southerner or because, see, the mess we are in right now, it shouldn't be talking about the region. We need someone that can take us out of this problem, right? Make us stand before we say, okay, now let's have a region. This Nigeria is a mess. Nigeria is a mess right now. I'm not going to say somebody must be southwest or a southeast, or if a good candidate comes from even a minority part of the country, a credible candidate that we all know, yes, this is the right person. This one can give us. Do you know? I live here in the US. Do you know how people see Nigeria outside Nigeria? Banks, you know what I'm talking about. Man, we do not have a good image outside here. And to answer the question of Mr. Matrix, you know, can you answer the question again, please? Probably so that I can answer it properly.
Our question is, I repeat, for example, coming to this election by 2023,
yes, sir.
And looking at the candidates that are coming from the southeast, southwest, and the northern region, and from every indication, the candidate who is from the southeast is believed to be the best among the candidates. Do you see any possibility of Nigerian youth from the southwest and northern region massively voting for that candidate from the southeast, knowing that he's an Igbo man?
Sorry, let me answer that question. Let me take a strike at that answer. As a Yoruba boy from Southwest, grew up in Lagos. An average person from Southwest Lagos really doesn't care where the president is from. So if you give us Peter Obi, Okojo Weala, from you, I think we're more open to receiving. The problem, which I saw in 2019, is people from Southeast, are they willing, ready, able to unite behind one person as their candidate? So that's the question I think we should be answering. And anybody else can take it for Southwest anyway.
Please, can I add my own contribution before I leave? Hello?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. I admire this platform and thank you for creating it. The first thing I would say is that we Nigerians are angry, and that is already a strong message to the political class. And it's also a progress on our path. So I wouldn't like us to just destroy every other thing that we have started building all these years. The awareness that has been created, it won't be good. And it wouldn't be a good becoming so desperate as to think that nothing is working, and therefore we lose the power to continue to insist. Because our leaders take us too much for granted, and the only way to move them is to insist, not to hold them, keep on holding them accountable. But for us to hold them accountable, we need to be responsible. No, for you to hold people accountable, you have to be responsible. You have to know what you need and where you want to arrive at. Before you start asking someone, you are not taking me to that place. So the question is that at the present time, some Nigerians are aware of what we really need to move higher. Some are not. And those ones that are not aware are the ones that will be sabotaging every effort to take the society to the real next level. No? So what I'm saying is that constitutional review is very fundamental in our country for us to move forward. But it's not the only solution. We also have to talk about reformation of minds. If I may say, rebranding of not Nigeria but individuals. No? For example, now we review the constitution in Nigeria, even though it is the same constitution.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the person anymore.
Yeah, I think he's having network issues. While we are waiting for him to come back, let me give these few words before then. Please see
what happens in our embassies.
There is something one of the speakers said, and I don't quite agree with him on that. He said that even in the next 50 years, that Nigeria is never going to break. That is an illusion. Nigeria can never remain the same. That is not the basic truth. But apart from that, let me go back to the issue of restoring Nigeria. Somebody came here on this platform, unfortunately, to even attack the Nigerian youth as Nigerians. That the problem is not the Nigerian constitution or the system, but the problem is Nigerians. It's very, very unfortunate that somebody can even say that. He even said this on Twitter space, where Nigerian youth are even speaking on this issue of Nigeria. I mean, this mess. But let me also clarify on what he said, that whenever we mention the issue of restructuring, that we should try to be specific. Let me use China, for example. China don't practice democracy. I live in China, though. They don't practice democracy. They practice communism. Yet, they practice the same regional system of government. In China, for example, you have Guangdong province. In Guangdong province, there are different cities. Every cities are independent. They generate their own income. For example, a policeman from, I don't know Lagos very well, but a policeman from one street cannot go to the next street nearby to arrest anybody. I mean, that is the way it is structured. Every city, their own destiny are in their own hands. That is why there is competition for development in every place wherever you go in China. And that is the same way it applies in the US, in UK, and every other countries that are developing. You don't have to concentrate all the powers to the central, as in to the center. And that is the reason why in Nigeria today, as a young Nigerian who is doing well, if you are driving your car on the road, before you leave your house, you pray that God will lead you to go out and come back. And if the criminals we entrust with the power to protect us eventually meet up with us on the road, if we are able to communicate with Sega, and Sega is maybe quickly to respond, that's when we'll be safe. How does it make us feel? That for us to be safe, we must try to have phone numbers or the contact of Sega Link or any other person in Nigeria who will always come to our aid when the police stops us or catch us on the road without doing anything. It is evil. There are thousands and millions of people in the remote villages who don't know who is Sega, who Sega cannot help. And unfortunately, that is the reason why if I happen to call Sega and Sega didn't respond quickly, tomorrow I begin to see him as an enemy because he didn't respond. Maybe he was busy, but I won't think about that. The problem of Nigeria today, I mean, the constitution being the problem of Nigeria today, that is the reason why the president of Nigeria can behave the way he wants to behave and nothing will happen. That is the same reason why the president of Nigeria can control the National Assembly just the way he wants. just the way he likes without being impeached. That is the same way a governor of a state will steal or hide about 20 billion naira that is meant for the workers of his state, and nothing will happen to him. So why is it so difficult for somebody to understand restructuring, the meaning of restructuring? And somebody is telling me that what the National Assembly are doing by passing a bill is the normal thing that should be done, and okay, we are okay with that. That is not. If you believe that Nigeria must be made at the point, then that constitution must be defeated. But still, how are you going to delete the constitution? The deputy Senate president even said it, that it will be almost impossible to change the Nigerian constitution because the same constitution has made it almost impossible for that constitution to be replaced. So how are you going to get those people who go to the National Assembly and change the constitution? Because the people that are there already, they know their way.
Please wrap up.
Frustrate guys, the people that help change it. So that is the reason why I echo the word of Otobu. See, why can't we, if you believe that you want the best for Nigeria, why can't we, bring our voices together and say, okay, now, let us come together and do what? Sit on a round table through referendum and discuss. Are we going to continue to remain together? Just like what somebody said. Why must we always continue to say one Nigeria, one Nigeria? Not even China, not even India, not even US. All these countries with 100 million, 200 million to 300 million people, they don't even talk about one China, one US, one Canada, Australia, whatever, one India. But Nigeria, we keep talking about one Nigeria every day because we know that a lot of things is fundamental. The foundation is fundamentally flawed. It's rigged. We are just living on a borrowed time. If we don't act on a very good day, it is going to explode right in our noses.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hi, Mr. Banks. Can I answer the young man's question, please?
So please go ahead. Please go ahead. Doctor.
Thank you very much, Banks. Yeah, so I actually came on stage because I wanted to respond to the question that the young man asked if a candidate from the Southeast, a competent candidate from the Southeast, was on the ballot, if young people from Southwestern Nigeria and Northern Nigeria would vote for that candidate. I think it's always good, and I think a lot more of us should actually do this. I can speak for Southwestern Nigeria. I can speak for the average Yoruba man or the average Yoruba woman on the streets. The average Yoruba man or the average Yoruba woman does not have any single problem with Igbo people. I have said this repeatedly, and a lot of other people have echoed these views repeatedly. I perfectly understand, people say all sorts of things, on Twitter, we have disagreements, we have difference of opinion. That's entirely fine. But the average Yoruba man, they didn't even support Obasanjo in 1999. They supported Yaradua, a PDP man, in 2007. Southwest Nigeria supported Goodluck Jonathan in 2010 for him to become the president, and in 2011, Southwestern Nigeria also supported him to become president. And in 2015, a lot of the Southwesterners as well also supported Buhari to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that partnership was a partnership largely, from political actors from the north and from Southwest Nigeria. And the feeling of a lot of the people from Southwest Nigeria the political actors, is that it is now our turn to produce a candidate. If you don't participate, you cannot be pointing and saying you want some. You have to get involved in playing the game. Before now, a lot of people that I know didn't even care where the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria actually comes from. But after what Buhari has done in the last couple of years, after the nepotism, the clannishness, after everything we have seen, to sort of go back into their enclaves and, beginning to see things from an ethnic perspective. So again, my main reason for coming on is to state that the average Yoruba man has absolutely nothing negative against Igbo people. You might get, all sort of disagreements in Lagos and, people saying, some one or two things. It honestly does not represent the average Yoruba man. I hope that answers the question. So if an Igbo candidate, Peter Obi, for example, there are loads of PDP folks from southwestern Nigeria who are supporting Peter Obi, who want Peter Obi to become president, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Will the majority support him? I don't know. I doubt it. If there's a candidate from the southwestern part of the country, or perhaps, from another region of the country, maybe they might support that candidate. But it is important that I clarify that the average Southwesterner has absolutely nothing negative about Igbo people or any politicians from Southeast Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Banks.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Always on point. Actually, I just made you a co-host because, I love and respect you so much. So you take over from me at some point now because I can't find my chairman, Somto. But yeah, so any other person that would like to chime in?
Yeah, can I go now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so fundamentally, I'm going to drop one thing. 2023, Tinubu is going to be your next president, except he does not want or God stops him. And I'm going to repeat, 2023, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the next president of Nigeria, except he doesn't want it. And that is anybody can take that to the bank.
So what gives you that assurance in a country of over like 200 million? What gives you that assurance today that Tinubu is the one that will determine? He only has one vote like the rest of us.
Yeah, Buhari is president today because of him.
No, I strongly disagree on that. Buhari is president today because of a lot of people joined forces.
Buhari is president today because of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The people who came on the bandwagon to support Buhari were there. The work that was done to bring those people on board, including Senator Saraki, was done majorly by Tinubu. So the Buhari has always been there. He was there. He's always been there. He ran 4 times. And when it clicked was when a particular person came who understands politics.
Sorry, 1 second. I have a question on that notion. In 2006, I respect Tinubu. He's done very well for himself in Lagos, nationally for the most part as well. But Tinubu has joined forces with Ribadu, has joined forces with Atiku, and they've never won. So let's always put that into perspective when we're speaking in general terms. But go ahead, you have the floor. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so when Tinubu joined with Buhari, there was a fundamental alignment of Buhari's base and the political intelligence and financial firepower that Tinubu's side of it brought to the table. And so if you remove Tinubu, when you begin to say, okay, Ribadu and this one, those were lightweights. So if you remove the Tinubu from the 7-8 million guaranteed votes that Buhari put on the table, nothing would have happened. And I want to also assure you that the only reason the Bukola Sarakis, the articles, they got on that bandwagon was because of the sagacity politically of that man. And you can take that to the bank. So if he wants to be president in 2023, he's your president. And if you, and I know you're politically savvy as well. If you begin to read the tea leaves now, you will see his positioning. The Southwest may not vote for him, but he would get past. He will press the tape in terms of the constitutional requirements for him to be president. Take it to the bank.
Where I differ with you in the small politics that I understand.
Yeah.
I haven't just been doing this for very small 12 years full time.
Yeah.
I don't see Tinubu getting ABC tickets.
Well,
that's just my personal opinion.
Who is going to stop him in ABC?
I wish him the very
best. I bet you ₦1 million. If he wants it, he has something.
Can I say something, Banks? Sorry to jump in. Yeah, Mr. Let me check your name. I know Mr. Lekki Masaka. Are you a pastor, please?
No, I'm not.
You're not a pastor. No. So let me just say this. When I spoke the other time, I said if any party produces a credible candidate, you're going to vote for him. So are you telling me, young man, that Tinubu is a credible candidate?
I'm not talking about his credibility. I am telling you what is going to play out in 23.
Okay, so if Tinubu doesn't become president or he doesn't get the APC ticket, what happens?
That's why I told Banks I'll bet him ₦1 million. If he wants it, he has it.
I'm going to bet $1,000 on this. And
I'll take you.
Yeah, I disagree with you. But let me.
If Tinubu is on the ballot, at the primaries, he's going to get that ticket.
Let me.
If he gets on the ballot for the general election,
let's not move Nigeria to one man. Let's discuss this other perspective.
Let me just say this.
Tinubu or no Tinubu, that's not why we are here. We're talking about voting in 2020.
So fundamentally,
let me. Tinubu is the one that will get you to vote. That's fine. That's fine by me.
Let me go back to my point. Shino, we'll take this off. Let's take this offline. Back channel me, we'll take it offline. Now, my point is this. In terms of presenting candidates, and the question that Deepo was trying to respond to, i.e., would other Nigerians vote for an Igbo candidate? I'd say, like Deepo said, as a Southwesterner as well, I don't think there is no problem from the Southwest when it comes to an Igbo candidate. But unfortunately, what we have as a problem is this, and which would be, is one, how do you get an Igbo candidate to emerge from one of the big parties, APC, PDP? And that's the challenge. Any third force candidate, any third force party is a waste of time. Because anybody who knows anything about politics will tell you that to be president in Nigeria, you have to have presence in 774 local governments. You have to have presence in 774 local governments. And I'll try to explain to you, for those who are not, political in any way. In 2015 election, Lai Mohammed's son came out as a candidate to represent my constituency at the Lagos State House of Assembly. And one of the questions I asked the people who are handling him in my area was, I called one of them, guy doesn't have any education of primary 6. Yeah, he's educated in primary 6. No big grammar, no degree. And I said to this guy, I said, what are you telling the people about this guy that will make them vote for him? They don't know him. Where has he come from? Nobody knows him politically in this. And he looked at me and laughed. And he said, they're not going to be voting for him. They're going to be voting for me. They know me. And that is simply the way politics works. So when I begin to tell you structure, that is the structure right there. So for anybody to be competitive in 2023, they must have presence in 774 local governments. And the only two platforms that have that today, to a large extent, are PDP and APC. So if yes, it's possible for an Igbo candidate to emerge from within. For instance, I believe Kingsley has joined ADC. Right now, does ADC have presence in 774 local governments? There's no way he can do 774 local governments. That's a lot of work. And then you're looking at the local governments itself. Then you're looking at the wards within the local governments. You're looking at the zones within the words. And it is a mammoth challenge. And so that is the question. If PDP or APC presents an Igbo candidate, they will get votes across Nigeria. Because then the people, when they say all politics is local, and when they talk about structures, that's what they're referring to. The people in those parties will sell themselves as his face, and they will do the work that needs to be done. I hope I've clarified something. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm enjoying this conversation. We should not narrow it down to one candidate. I wish Tinubu the best. If God said it's the man for the job, what I'm just
your president here.
No, I mean what I'm just talking about is look, 2023 voting. If we're talking about voting needs to count. Someone asked about the credibility, his pedigree, his reach across the nation. Those are the kind of things we need to discuss. If Tinubu is your candidate, all well and good. I like the fact that you're embracing it. Embrace it, campaign for him, push for him, get more people to register to vote. As long as we're getting a good number of people to come out to elect our leaders, that's what I'm all about. So this conversation is really to gear us towards what are the criteria. What makes Tinubu a better candidate? What makes Osibanjo less of a better candidate? What makes Araki a good candidate? So we should start having that conversation. Also, Southeast. Why are we not considering Southeast? What's stopping us from considering Southeast? Why does he have to go back to Northwest? So let's continue in that direction. I have Dikbo as my co-host right now. I've been doing this for a few hours. I'm about to run off in about 30 minutes. So Dikbo, you have the floor, please.
Frank, we've actually got Teapot. I think Teapot can go, and a couple of other people are flashing. Somto, I brought you up. I think you need to request again. Teapot, you've got the mic.
Thank you, Dr. Dikbo. I hope everyone can hear me. I just want to quickly make a comment about what the guy that spoke about Tinubu said. I'm not going to make any comment about whether Tinubu is right or wrong. There's something called voter apathy. When you start making a comment like whether you take it or not, whether he likes it or not, unless God stops it, he's going to be the next president. That right there is why a lot of people don't vote. Because they believe it's rigged, there's nothing they can do, their vote don't count. That is how it starts. Right, Tinubu can as well be the president. It does not really matter. But don't say it for a fact, definitely, to people that whether you like it or not, there's nothing you can do. Tinubu is the next president. A lot of people simply would not vote because they would believe the result is already fixed. Whereas that's not the case. If you so much think Tinubu is the next president, go out and work for that and make it happen. Don't discourage people by saying for a fact Tinubu is going to be the next president. Then why are you asking everyone to vote? You might as well just crown him. It's as simple as that. That's how voter apathy comes in. The second thing I want to talk, the guy was talking about changing the constitution and all of that. Look, the constitution is a document. Human beings control it. We simply don't have a lot of strong-minded people that wants to make a change. It wasn't long ago that almost the Constitution of America was almost thrown on the bus. That's America. What saved them was because they have a lot of strong-willed people who would rather die than do anything contrary to the Constitution. We simply don't have that in Nigeria at the moment. So it's not about this person can do what this person does. Everybody that has been doing whatever it is they've been doing, regardless of where the country comes from, the president of the country comes from, they simply are not making any changes because the people around them are not asking them questions. So it's not a matter of whether somebody is better than the other person. As far as I'm concerned, to be honest with you, put a blanket on every single candidate you want to put forward for any election in Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, they are all the same thing. Okay, so those are my comments. Let's not discourage people from voting, please. If we all go and vote for Tinubu, fine. If we vote for whoever, fine. But don't discourage people by saying whether you vote or you don't vote or whether you like it or not. No. Please don't say that. Thank you.
Dikbo, can I just quickly respond to that so he understands what I've just said?
Yes, please.
Fundamentally, what I've just said is this, that he will be the next president. And I'm not saying because people will not vote or it's been written. No. Because the man understands politics and he's already started doing his work. Man has been working for about 8 years or more. And so you want to put that, you think that work, all the work he's doing across Nigeria, building bridges, building structures, connecting with people, you think he's going to go down? People will go and vote for him. People will come out and they will vote. So when I say that, it is me predicting, looking at what he has put on ground, what he is doing, and understanding by tracking his successes politically, that he understands the game. He understands that game and he knows how to play it. It's as simple as that. So it's not anything to do with apathy and that whether they will write votes. No, people will go out and they will vote him. People will go out and they will vote him. I've been in conversations with people across Nigeria, and the indications I get. So when I say what I say, it's by virtue of those conversations, the indication I get, a little bit that I know, and the way the man positions himself and his understanding, his sagacity of Nigerians and his politics. Thank you.
Dr. Can I say something?
Yes, please. Go on, Mr. Shino.
If you understand what the last speaker said, he was trying to tell us that people are here listening to what we are saying. We are telling people to go and vote. We are talking about Tinubu. Right now, as an average Nigerian, when you mention Tinubu is going to be the president, what flashed to my mind is NSAS. We all have it on video what Tinubu said during NSAS. He even fled to Paris or London, I don't know where he went to. And we are talking about here right now, yes, you are letting us know. I think you are campaigning stylishly for Tinubu, which is very wrong on this space right now. I stand to correct it. Because Tinubu does not even know whether it's going to be available tomorrow. Nobody knows tomorrow. You shouldn't be bringing Tinubu's pepper soup for us to eat here on this space. It is wrong, bro. It is very, very wrong. Tinubu, I'm a Yoruba man. I grew up in Lagos all my life. I'm coming back now. But Tinubu is not the thing we'll be talking about on space. It's a stain to the people that actually came out to protest during NSAS. Talking about Tinubu on this space is a stain to some people who died, some people who fled the country, like DJ Switch. It's a stain to so many people whose blood stained the green, white, green flag last year, October. So we shouldn't be talking about Tinubu that you have been to all over the country. I've not been to all over the country. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to vote because I don't even live in Nigeria, right? But I can assure you of one thing. ABC bringing Tinubu on board, which I doubt, is already dead on arrival. I can assure you, except the rig, which I know is not going to be possible. People are wise. People's eyes are open. People are angry. If you're going to contest election tomorrow, people are going to troop. Are you telling me people like Force, like Macaroni, and people that can drive people to go and vote, they're going to vote for Tinubu?
This man, you don't understand this thing.
I do. Let us go further.
Shut up. No. After NSAS. Right? After NSAS. Wait. Yeah. Relax. Facts. After NSAS, there was a by-election in Lagos East. Yeah? Who won?
The Lagos State governor controls the Lagos State independent.
No. That was wrong. No. That Lagos State election was conducted by INEC, and Tokunbo Abiru, even though it was APC candidate, was more popular than most of the other candidates. Please, let's keep this.
People will be coming to argue with us here. When we say what we say it. By virtue of, I'm not a armchair politician. No. So after NSAS, there was a by-election. There were candidates that were solid. Tokunbo Abiru, I didn't know. But I knew BOG.
Bro.
I know him. I've seen him speak.
No. We all due respect. Personally, as a Lagosian, forget the party. I felt Tokunbo Abiru was a better candidate than BOG. Take that to the bank.
What makes you think Tokunbo was better?
But his antecedent when he was in the bank.
He was antecedent in bank.
So wait now.
It's what you use to judge against a man who was locked up because he criticized government.
My guy, going to prison is not a badge of honor to think you can get my vote.
Banks, go and look at the gubernatorial debate.
It's personal.
Go and look at the gubernatorial debate for Lagos State in 2019.
My brother, we must go beyond debates. Now, he might be a good candidate for you. I respect that. That's why voting is a good choice. But to tell me that because a man went to jail because he spoke about the governor, because I respect him for speaking about the jail. So because everybody has gone to jail, we should not give them a free pass to lead us. No, now. How about?
you pick people who will support your interests. I do not know Abiru. I've never heard him say about any national issue.
That's you.
BOG, I have heard comments about national issues, put his business and his life on the line to stand on the side of the people. I have listened to him speak about his vision for Lagos. I know he's a visionary person. I don't know anything about Abiru. So I went, in that election, I would have voted BOG if I had a vote. And that is by virtue of the fact that I know him. But you're saying you know Abiru by virtue of his performance in the bank. I didn't work in the bank. I don't know him. As far as I'm concerned, he won that election on the back of APC being in control. And the people, there was a lot of voter apathy as well. So what I'm saying to you is this, to Shino, if we had that, after Bola Ahmed Tinubu said what he said, and then what happened at EXAS at the toll gate happened, and APC still won in Abiru. Hello. So all that what you're doing is
Oludi. What I'm just saying, is this: elections are valid, and there are repercussions for actions and non-actions. Now that's one. So don't think now NSAS might have like 5-10% influence on the next election, but I don't think we should now. I don't believe in council culture. Let me put it that way. So I wouldn't say so for me, you see, I've not been advocating for APC or PDP or one individual. So that's not what 2023 should be about for all of us. It should be now. You are right to say BOG is your guy after looking at the incident. After seeing what Abiru did as a person with Polaris Bank and every other thing, as someone with a financial background, it was my preferred choice. Not because it was in APC. If it was in SDP, PDP, most likely it would have been my preferred choice as well. Same way, BOG is your preferred choice for reasons that you have mentioned. What we should do more of is this: respecting each other's differences. As we approach 2023, set ground criteria approach. You can speak a good game, print a good vision. What have you done even in your own personal life? What are your antecedents? Not just antecedents when it gives me. Some of us are good with words. Some of us are not. But what did you do when you were a class captain? How effective did you manage your class? When you were head neighborhood watch, whatever it is, we should continue to look at those type of antecedents to decide, not just because he speaks a good English, not because he went to jail, not just because he has money or he doesn't have money. So I think, but yeah, I rest my case right now. Because
for me, can we? Sorry, Olu, can we have Odogu speak? Odogu, then we'll have Suleiman. Then the conversation can continue. The mic is yours, Odogu. Hi, Odogu. You need to unmute your mic. Okay, perhaps it's network. Suleiman, do you want to go on, please?
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is a great space. I think it's a great discussion going in 2021. It says a lot about growth in Nigeria. It says a lot about the thought process in Nigeria. I don't live in Nigeria. I live overseas, but I obviously watch what's going on in Nigeria religiously. I think Olu D, right? Hello?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Olu D.
Yeah,
go for it.
I think one of the things that you did, because everything, I'm a reporter. I'm a sports reporter. I've been doing this for about 23 years. And delivery is very key. How you deliver a message is very important. How you say something is very important. When you first came on and you said, I bet you $1 million Bola Tinubu is the next president of Nigeria. Just like, I think I'm not going to put words in Teapot's mouth or that tells them that, then what's the point of voting when you're telling me that he's the next president? Now, granted, and not to be defensive, you did come and then you cleaned it up and said, he's done this, he has pretty much all the local, all the zones covered, granted. But still, like when you tell people that this guy is the next president, it's like America coming and saying Donald Trump is the next president in another couple of years. Then what's the point of me going out to vote when they've already been told that that's the guy that's going to be president? The people won't come out. That's voter suppression in a sense. You're telling people not to come out. Now, I will be very, very honest that a lot of us in this space are quote unquote elites. You have the data to jump on this space to be able to have this conversation. The average Nigerian doesn't. The average Nigerians are the people that actually need to go out and vote. You guys will vote. I don't have that luxury because I don't live in Nigeria. But those of you that live in Nigeria, you will vote. Now, I'm asking this question, and this is an honest question. What are the drives being done to get those people, those disenfranchised people, to the polls? Not the people on the island, the people on the mainland. Not the people in the southwest. The people in the disenfranchised areas, in the middle belt, where they practically have one form of living. It's either farming or nothing. How and what is the process? It's not going to be done by these political powers, because there's something I was saying to someone. I said, sport is the best way to unite Nigeria. Why don't our leaders say this? And the person told me, who told you they want to unite Nigeria? Who gives you the impression they want to unite Nigeria? Like South Africa was united through sports, and that was what Mandela did by being able to call them the Rainbow Nation. He used a sport that black people could not stand, rugby, a team that black people despised, Springboks. He used that to unite the nation. What are our leaders doing? And I see Austin, my guy, here because he's also a sports person. Sports is a great way to unite, but are they doing that? But like I said, my question is, and you guys will know a lot better than me, what is the process to get those people that are not in this space? Because they're the ones. Twitter is not voting. Same thing in America. Twitter doesn't vote. The people are the ones that vote. What are they doing to get those people to the polls? Because I know that they have the unions on lock, but that's not the only people that vote. The regular people, the people that don't have, there are people that don't have voters cards. There are a lot of people that don't. So what are we doing to make sure that they get their voter cards? Are there organizations that are working tirelessly outside of INEC that are doing this to make sure that people get to the polls? Because the less the number, the more you can skew an election your way. I yield the floor.
Okay, I think we should actually take Teapot and would have someone else subsequently. Teapot, you've got the mic.
Thank you. Just as Oludi just cleared up the voter party issue, he made another statement that this, whose interests are we supposed to be supporting? Is the interest of Nigerians. Okay, so we need to look at what we want from a leader, not just because someone is from somewhere or something. It does not really matter. Now, when people canvass for people, when people support people, whose interests are they protecting? Whose interest matters right now? Nigerians. So I think that's what we should be looking at. It's not a matter of Tinubu or anybody. Let's not bring anybody's name into this conversation. It's way, way bigger than that, to be honest with you. Our country is a mess because we can't see beyond right now. In 10 years' time, or even in 2 years' time, 2023, all of these actors we are talking about, there's no guarantee that they will be active. There's no guarantee. No one knows that they will even be here. So let's look at the interest of Nigeria as a whole. Let's talk about how we can take the country forward. It's not about one person there or one. Look, we've had people in positions in government all over the country that everyone will tell you they are good people. He's a nice guy. He's very generous. He's X, Y, Z, and everything. Where has that got us? No way. So let's don't name check any politician right now. Leave them out. Let's all converse and see a way go. Right. This is what we want for our country. You know, and that's what this space should be about. Let's not keep name checking this person and that person, and it's not going to get us anywhere. We all know what the problem is. Let's try to figure out some solutions here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teapot. Perhaps we should actually take a lady, Oyeniro. Hi, Oyeniro. You've got the microphone. Oyeniro going 1. Going 2 and going 3. Okay.
Hello?
Olu. Yes, please go on.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. And thanks to the speakers for all the contributions. From everything everybody has said, there's a take-home for me. I think we have a lot of laudable ideas and the way things should be done. But the steps achieve these things, I think that's where we have a problem. So if we are saying, okay, we need a referendum, we need citizens to decide whether we want to be together, or we need to ensure that, okay, another party is in the limelight. What are the steps that we need to take to achieve this? I think that's where we have problems as a country. There are so many intelligent people that say, okay, this should be done. But what are the steps, the minute steps, step 1, step 2, step 3? So going forward, I think we need, apart from people coming together to give solutions to problems, we need a crop of young people that will sit together and say, okay, this thing this person has said work for this country. What are the steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, to be able to achieve it? That's just my contributions. Thank you. Over.
Thank you very much. Do you have an idea of what those steps should be? Perhaps if you have some ideas, you can share them before we continue the conversation.
Okay, for example, it's not as if I have a clear-cut idea. For example, when we talk about, okay, we need to restructure the nation, and people, we say a lot of it. How do we achieve it? Number 1, is it that some people in some states need to consider, because we know that some people have said it here, that the National Assembly themselves will not shoot themselves in the leg, because they know what they are going to do. But as young Nigerians, as people, what do we need to do? So for me, I think we need a formidable group that should come together to be able to itemize the steps for every laudable solution to Nigerians' problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oyenira. I'm going to go back to, I think we actually have Aki, AKNYI, and we'll go back to Olo subsequently. Please go on.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. I'm going to touch based on what Suleiman asked, and you see, for me, I believe that you see, in leadership, we first and foremost, a vision, a clear-cut vision, is the first thing an electorate will look at. Where is this man saying he's taking us to? Then the next thing is the integrity. How sincere is he in his plight to take us where he wants to? Now, that's the next thing is where competence comes in. You know, for example, we can see what's happening in Akwa Ibom. This man was not in government initially. He was in financial services. But there is a whole tremendous change in what is going on there. So when we are talking about competence, we are not exactly saying you must have been in government for donkey years. No, we are saying from where you are, what have you done? The same way Mr. Banks was explaining. And then we'll take it up from there. Okay, if this man has done this, and he says he's going to take us with the competencies he has exhibited where he's coming from, then we should trust him. We don't have such people. What we have, we don't trust the set of people we have now. That's where the issue is. And when you start mentioning names, every emotion runs deep, because we haven't forgotten what has happened in a couple of months ago. You know, so you don't want to risk your future, whatever we have left of this nation. We don't want to risk it in the same number of people that you are certainly not sure that they have Nigeria's best interest. And so that's why there's a lot of, if Nigeria is working, or Nigeria was working, nobody will be agitating for, I want to leave, I want to not leave. No. It's because we have leaders that have failed tremendously. So the youth must have a paradigm shift in thinking, first and foremost. Now, we talked about what are we going to do? I think the first thing is stakeholder engagement. We have to know these people that can make things happen. There are different sectors, there are different unions, how their impact will be in the next election, what are their influences, what we need to start addressing concerning them. And then EndSARS showed that the youth of this country can actually come together and plan something successfully. All we need to do is engage ourselves. Politics is an issue of interest. So let's know what this interest is. Let's know what this group's interest is, and this other one. And then we start working together and saying, look, guys, okay, you this dog guy, hey, if you vote for this guy, they will give you money now. But after, in the next 4 years, that's where you hear from them. But this is what will happen if this set of people come together. So I think we should first and foremost start engaging ourselves. The civil societies, the financial sectors, the church community, the mosque community, everybody, social media community, everybody should come together and say, what is your impact in this election? If you do so, and so, how will it change the dynamics we are used to? Most times when you hear the statements like this person will win, it's because most people have resigned to faith. Nobody is coming up to say this thing can actually change. That's my own contribution. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think we can go back to Olu. Olu, go on, please.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Doc. One, my delivery is intended to generate the reaction that it did. So it was deliberate to generate that reaction. And I'm glad that people reacted. And that obviously shows you that except we fix what the problem is, then we're not going anywhere. Now, there was a lady that said something about people engaging and people coming into groups. No, see, all politics is local. If you are in Nigeria, I can guarantee you there's a polling unit within a 5-minute walk of your house. That polling unit has a list of registered voters who are also within 5, 10, 20 minutes walk of your house, in most cases. So if you want to change anything, you yourself get up and begin to engage. The voter register for that your polling unit is accessible. A political party local to you will have a structure, an executive structure that would be able to give you the list of names on that voter's register for that polling unit where you vote, if you vote. Begin to engage in the right conversations and begin to try to at least make sure your polling unit, those of you who are joined by polling units at the same area, who perhaps will have a common interest, are voting along the side of your interest. And it's as simple as that. All politics is local. All politics is local. When it comes to voter registration and getting people to register to vote and all of that, there are a lot of people doing stuff on their own backs, trying to get people to vote. I have done my bit when I've been around. I've done my bit, try to get people to vote, make sure they have transport, provide an environment for INEC to be comfortable, provide generator, canopies, chairs, so that when people go and they're not tired and they don't walk away. We've done all of that. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who are still doing all of that. Set up an office to support people, go on radio to do radio programs to encourage people to vote, respond to people's questions in terms of what they need to do. Like I said, set up an office where they can call into, put out 2, 3, 400,000 handbills with the office number, people call with support. So these things are going on. All of these things have been done before, and people are still doing it in some way, shape, or form. So when we have these conversations, because a lot of people are not politically engaged, they don't see this thing, so they just assume that this is a void. And so when people like me speak from the position I speak from, and I say, look, this is most likely the outcome you will get and I'm willing to put money on it. I don't have money to throw away. It's because of what I have read. Now, if you don't like it, then get off your bum and do something about it. Get off your bum and do something about it. Engage. But unfortunately, there's also this tendency for people to assume that the average Nigerian voter is an idiot. They're not. They are not idiots. And so to also assume that, they will just take, if you go and tell them, if they take 5,000 naira, and it will be 4 years of it. They know 5,000 naira cannot feed them and their children, 4 children, for 4 years. They know. You think they're stupid. They're not. And so we keep assuming that the average Nigerian voter is stupid. The problem we have is not the stupidity of the Nigerian voter. It's because we haven't been able to make citizens of our people. And so citizenship is what makes a people care. So when we make citizens of our people, then we begin to demand patriotism from them and begin to have them look beyond just an election to a future. So when you have an environment that does not care about them, that gives them nothing, Amori Baku, either they die or live. They don't care. When you have an environment that allows for people to go and point guns and shoot people that are sat on the floor, singing national anthem, holding up the flag of that country that you call Nigeria, you de-citizen them. And once you de-citizen a people, then you cannot now begin to demand patriotism from them. That makes them look beyond that ballot box that they are 5,000 they're going to collect. They're just collecting it because, okay, just give it to me, whatever it is. And they will do their part. They promised you they will vote you if you give them that money. You give them, they will go after what they still promised you. So even the people have more integrity than the political class because they do what they promise. But unfortunately, Nigeria, as it is presently constituted, allows for the political class to get away with murder. And there are no citizens. What you have there are pseudo-citizens. The only way to get Nigeria to war is to make citizens of the people. Now, how do you make citizens of the people? That is the white elephant in the room. I have my ideas, but I'll hold that for now.
Thank you very much. I think we've actually got Ephraim, I think. Ephraim, I think you haven't spoken in a while. Do you want to quickly chip in before we go to the next person? Okay. Suleiman, you can carry on, please.
Thank you. Olugi made a lot of statements, which some of them are idealistic. I'm a realist. I'm still asking questions about, how to get people to the polls, how to get people to make sure people are registered to vote. I agree that elections are local. That's across the board everywhere in the world. People don't just rise up through a political party at the national level. They come through the local level. They've done some work, and that's how they get noticed. I think in order for us to have a nation where people are patriotic, we have to be a nation of law and order. We don't even follow rules and regulations in Nigeria. We will travel abroad and follow rules and regulations, but once we get home, we turn to animals. Like once you get off that plane at Murtala Mohammed, and it's a different mindset. You just practically are back in the jungle. How are people going to not take the 5,000 and 10,000 naira or whatever amount it is that these political people are offering them when there isn't a system on ground that if you strike, you're still taken care of? If Nigeria strikes, if people strike today, they'll give them 2 weeks and they'll back at work because they're not making any money. The system is not built. How many people really want to get into the political sector in Nigeria? Unless there's some, there's some strings attached to it. Like young people that don't have any money, how do you get involved in politics unless you are, quote unquote, someone's puppet? You're there because, like I think someone mentioned earlier that, they don't know him, but yeah, they're not voting for him. They're voting for me because they know me. That's practically a puppet, for lack of a better term. That's one. Because for me, what's most important is not those of us in this space. Because those of us in this space that have voters card will vote. You pick your candidate, you're very well informed, you will vote. To say that the poor know this and they still vote, then why do they vote? Why do they go ahead and take that money and still vote their interest away? We don't even have a nation as a litigious nation. People owe you money, you can't sue them. The judiciary does not serve the people. There are things that don't work in Nigeria. So how do we make those things work in order for people to even want to come out and feel like they have a right? Do Nigerians know their rights? That for me is a big question. Do people know their rights? Do they know that this etomiri, I'm a Yoruba person, etomiri, this is what is rightfully mine? This guy is asking me for my vote. What is he truly going to do for us? Are we going to see him after today? I will give you an example. When I lived in Nigeria, I think it was right around the time when Obasanjo was going to get elected. And we're playing football in the area. And a bunch of men came and gathered us all up and wanted to hand us 100 naira for our votes. And I said to the guy, okay, are you the one running for? It was a local government election. He said, yes. I said, what is your platform? What are you What are you hoping to give us? You know what the guy said to me? I'm going to go on a piece of process. To be fair, there are not a lot of people like me asking that question because all those guys took 200 naira notes. But I'm asking because I know my right. How many of these people that you say, that will take this money, truly know their right? Because if you know your right and you value yourself, you would not take that money from them. A yield.
Thank you very much, Suleiman. I think we are going to start winding down, perhaps closing 5 minutes. I see Banks has actually go off. Yeah, I see Olu, you've actually got your hands up. Perhaps if you go, then perhaps, Mr. Shino, then Teapot, then, maybe we should, just close the room and go banter Manchester United on the TL. Please go on, Olu.
Yeah, finally, the question is this. What rights does the current Nigerian constitution give you? And how do you uphold those rights? And that's where the big problem is. That's where the white elephant is room, the big, massive elephant in the room is. So how do we change all of these things? We need to go back and look at that constitution. We need to make citizens of our people. I told you I have an idea on how to make our people citizens of Nigeria. The only way you get people to be citizens is to engage them in the process that makes them citizens, in the fashioning of your constitution. Dele Farotimi put a tweet out, and I'll suggest people who are listening to me now, please don't follow me. Go and follow Dele Farotimi and listen to what he's saying. His handle is at Dele Farotimi. Listen, go to his timeline and read. Yeah? Now, when he put a tweet out and he said, citizens protest and they don't get killed. Citizens, I can't remember precisely how, citizens have rights and all of that. So when you are in a situation where you have no rights, where it's okay for somebody that is employed as security guard to come and carry that gun and shoot you, and nothing is going to happen. When somebody can stand on the road and demand that you pay him before you go, otherwise he will shoot you and nothing will happen to him. When somebody can be elected to go and represent you and he will chop money and nothing will happen to you. You are talking about a local council person coming around and you spoke with him and he said, I ran in 2011 for my local council. How many votes did I hear? How many people came? The same things they say, and they voted the way they wanted to vote. And they did what they wanted to do. So we need to get our people involved in this process. And the only way to make them citizens is by engaging them in the fashioning of their constitution so we can begin to demand patriotism from them. I'm done speaking. Thanks, Tipo, and thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Shino, do you want to quickly chip in?
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. Yeah, thank you, Olu. Thank you for turning us on. I'm going to say one or two things in just a minute right now. And if you are here, if you are listening, please get your PVC and vote. Your vote counts. And I can assure you, if you don't like what you are seeing right now, if you don't like the guy representing your National Assembly, in the State Assembly, please take him or her out. If you have to delete, like I said the other time, we need to delete the 1999 Constitution. But before you can delete, we have to elect new officials. We have to get the 10th National Assembly constituted, right? And during that time, we can talk about deleting the current constitution and bringing up a new one. If you don't like Ojuzo Kalu being your senator, and you are here listening, get to the polls and vote. See, elections are not won on Twitter, and elections have consequences. Please get your PVC and vote. Get your PVC and vote. You might not like the guy from the south, east, or west, but you have the power to choose whoever you want to be your leader.
get a credible candidate, vote for him or her, and let's see what happens in next 2023. Thank you, Dr. Thank you.